It's called Smut. Give me smut and nothing but a dirty novel I can't shut.
How did Scream 4 figure out live streaming? It was so weird. And also,
I love Scream.
The long-haired Culkin is in that one, and I'm
Rory,
and I'm attracted to Culkins.
Culkins
honestly, are my type.
Not Macaulay. Not Macaulay.
Macaulay is the lowest rung, and it's
on the
Kieran.
Kieran is number one.
Kieran is
Kieran,
number one.
Rory.
Yeah, on the Culkin poll, it's Kieran, Rory, Macaulay.
Is there a fourth one?
I think there is, and I don't know him, so let's not talk about it.
If you are the fourth Culkin, please
stand up.
Please stand up and please call in.
To be honest, before you said it, the only Culkin I knew was Macaulay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Kieran was on Succession.
Okay.
And Rory is the long-haired one. He's in a bunch
Kieran?
of... He's in indie movies.
And Succession?
And also
He's
Scream
Roman in Succession.
I don't watch enough Succession.
He looks like he is related to Macaulay Culkin.
I get it. Okay.
Yeah, and in real life, he has like a bunch of bracelets that he wears, and for whatever reason, that's the type of man I'm attracted to.
He's in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. If you ever saw that.
He's the
Nothing has checked out more than
like,
knowing that you are into Bracelet Boy.
I'm into Bracelet Boys.
A pinky ring? Sign me up for a pinky ring.
Is there do you see people and you're like, that person has a type?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not seeing people, it's knowing people enough. It's listening and paying attention or seeing what they seem to be.
Mm-hmm. What do you think is my, can I ask, do you have
I know your type. I got you pegged.
You sounded real fast with that one.
Yeah. You like a boy's boy. You could go, and yours is general because you're going to go, I don't have a type. I like these types. But it's going to be a bearded dude who's a man, he's manly in some way. He doesn't have tattoos, but he could. He doesn't have to be a fisherman, but he could. He's going to have a trade of some sort. That's
she keeps
be
matching with truckers on Field.
I do. Not Field. I'm not on Field. It's Hinge.
This is what I'm saying is you need a man. You come off as the most heteronormative.
She wants shoulders.
She wants shoulders, a
because
helmet.
When I'm drunk, I need to lean on something, and I need a shoulder that's broad enough for me to go, hey, I need that support.
Yeah, as a person who has leaned on small-shouldered hoes.
Small shouldered.
They're sturdy.
Yeah, you don't know how sturdy someone is based on the shoulder of their shoulders. Yeah, it could be. It could surprise you.
And Jessica's type is bracelets and a pinky ring.
Bracelet. Maybe
and
not
yet
a pinky
I
ring.
married Keenan, who
he's into jewelry.
Energy. He has bracelet energy.
He's got the collar chains.
That's fair.
He doesn't do bracelets, but he could be.
I did introduce him to the concept of wearing jewelry as a man, and he does enjoy. He'll deny it until he's blue in the face, but he likes peacocking a little bit.
I've seen photos of him with earrings. Yeah, he's
Yeah, he has a tongue. He has a tongue stud.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and he used to have earrings. And now we're married.
So much has happened. Past that wine. But speaking of this season, welcome to
Femmes Reading Filth.
Did we both go down?
It was a harmony. That was pretty.
It was good.
We're always going to be just slightly
we never
it was almost there.
I liked that one.
We kind of go with
you.
what we feel.
It happens.
I'm Emily Brugen.
I'm Jess.
And we already said that this is Femmes Reading Filth.
Is this Femmes Reading Filth?
It's been a while. We usually say our names and then we say that.
I know, but we can change it up. It's season 3.
All right. Well, we have a guest.
We do. Y'all have met her. Y'all love her already.
Yep. It's Julie Merica.
Hi.
Amazing.
I mouthed Julie Merica with y'all because I didn't want to interfere with the harmony, but I also wanted to say something. Hello, it's me, Julie Merica.
Yay, hello. You're back. It's your first official episode.
It is day 1.
How do you feel?
Honestly, incredible. Couldn't be more excited to be here talking about this right now.
We all just ate some sandwiches.
We've got cups full of wine.
Yeah.
Prep for the day. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah, full belly, full heart.
Can't lose.
Can't lose.
That's what football's all about. That's what football's all about.
Do you have any podcast thoughts to start the 3rd season?
Let's see. What have I been doing? I've been going on dates with a boy. That's pretty fun.
Yeah, this is
the
new.
redhead. Wait, what did we call him? What did Dad call him?
He called him Big Red.
Big Red.
He has started.
That's gonna be his name for the rest of the season.
He
by
has
the way.
started listening to this podcast though.
Time
out. Oh, hey Big Red.
Hey Big Red. So Big Red has been texting me, And he's a very good texter. And I told him that I was reading Hermione fan fiction, and he came up with some Harry Potter pickup lines.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh my
god, please give them to me.
I think
oh my god,
I think
let me
they're a
slither
little
in them panties.
they're a little like, I'm sure you've heard them, because I think I've heard most of them before, but like they were
give me like your favorite one.
A+ for actually the one I literally
You want a
thumbs
muggle?
up.
No.
You want to muggle with me? The one he said was
I
the one
basilisk your pussy.
One,
Hey.
2, 3, 4. He gave me 5. You want to hear all 5?
I want to hear your top 1 or 2.
My top one was some have called me a parcel tongue. Does that mean I can get into your chamber of secrets?
All right. I
kinda
like
like
basilisk your pussy a little bit more, but okay.
He wrote one that was actually this one was kind of, it was cute, and I was just like, oh. He said, "Girl, you must be a portkey, because every time we touch, I am transported somewhere magical."
Oh wow. Oh wow.
And then he said, "If I bump into you in the ladies' bathroom, will you show me your basilisk?" Which is a little.
I was gonna say, will you show me your moaning myrtle?
Yeah.
Which is better.
Can I show you my basilisk? Is
Can I
what it should
you
have
the
been.
moaning Myrtle?
Could I make you
Can
the
I make
moaning
you moan
Myrtle?
like Myrtle with my basilisk?
Yes.
There it is.
Hey, all right,
This
all
is what
right,
editing is
all
all
right.
about.
Let me get, we need a writer's workshop.
We need it right.
Can you call
Let
him
me bust
and let
them
him
pipes
know?
open.
You know,
thoughts?
maybe this season, if this goes well with Big Red, we can have a call in with him, and we'll be like, hey, right off the bat, give us something.
Because
No.
she found herself the
No,
rare
no, no.
man that reads erotica.
He has read a bunch of the Neon Gods series by Katie Roberts.
I'm
Watch
sorry.
by the end of this season, where what if we like stop dating, and then he but he still listens.
That's what happened last season. So.
I was hoping that
He didn't listen though.
I could care less if y'all are dating or not by the end of the season. What I care about is him being a permanent segment
Yes.
on the show.
But hey, speaking of this week's topic,
What is
praise.
it?
praise.
Just
Praise.
praise.
Praise me like you should.
Hey, we don't have the rights. We don't have the rights.
Well, trust me, they're not going to sue you for that. They're going to go, what was that?
Everyone knows exactly what that
We
was.
were exactly in tune. I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's Praise Kink. We've talked about Praise Kink before.
Yeah.
Because
Because it comes up a lot.
I think in a lot. I mean, it's a very popular thing to put in sex scenes.
Yes.
So it's only in sex scenes, but it's a thing outside of sex scenes as well. But no, like if it's
I was just laughing because you're like, yeah, not only in sex scenes. Men do not talk nicely to women outside of sex. Trust me.
no, everyone calls you a dirty
depends
fucking
on the story.
whore. Oh no, no,
Do we need to talk to Big Red about that?
no.
Wait, does a praise kink? Oh yeah, you're not going to talk.
Well,
shit
I'm gonna-
during a praise kink.
Well,
yeah,
so I'm gonna
I get a definition.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some research. I did some.
Webster.
But first of all, what do you think a praise kink is?
Yeah.
I would honestly just compliments, making me feel good, making me feel like not like I hate the idea of like princess queen trope in the traditional sense, but I like the idea of being like you're number one, you're a bad bitch, I'm your soulmate, you know what I mean, like I am the one for you, it doesn't matter, I got eyes for nobody else, because we know there's a bunch of hotties out here.
Yep.
We know there's a bunch of cool people out here in these streets.
Yeah.
We live in a world with a lot of humans that are cool, but I got eyes for you. So to me it's like the like making you feel like that with my words, communication style. To me it's like the like I hate love languages also, but I'm going to use those, like using the communication, the words of affirmation love language of like, I'm verbally telling you, you're doing a good job. I think you're great. I think you're attractive. You're my number, whatever. Like just, it's the communication, but like on the verbal aspect is the way I take it. But now the good girl is really where it's coming through now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big part of it, for sure.
It's the easiest identifier I think of a praise kink is being
Yeah.
like you're my good girl. Or
That's
something
how
like
I
that.
started looking for fics for this. Is I just
You did the
typed
tag?
good girl tag
Yeah.
into Ao3.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited to hear your fic today.
Mine
but
is not what you're expecting.
I can't wait. But here's, and just chime in if you have anything else to add, but here's some research. So I looked up, there's a site called Bad Girls Bible, which is a lot about like, just a lot of things like in the I'm looking for a different word, but the sexual world, the
Like kink space?
kind of, yeah, but there's more. It's just a lot of like definitions and things like that. And then I
Okay.
also found this quote from Jennifer Rehor, R-E-H-O-R. She is a sex therapist, and she said, "The praise kink allows someone to explicitly ask for the kinds of positive reinforcement that they crave in order to feel desired, erotic, sensual, or aroused." It's also known as affirmation play.
Yes. Into
And
it.
It allows a dom or a top or somebody in that kind of position to shower their sub or someone in that kind of position with compliments, kind words, and praise. And that's from the Bad Girls Bible. So there's this whole section I saw of like, how does it start? And like, obviously this is different for everyone, but I just thought it was interesting that it said like early experiences, like the natural need to feel appreciated. So like if you kind of grew up in a like work harder rather than like good job, that might be like a not trigger, but like a...
Well, it's something that I feel like a lot of kinks come from seeking something that validation. You might not normally get.
Yeah.
But something that you want. So like...
Didn't know we were going to go into the fucking psychology of myself with this kink. But cool. Yeah, we can talk about how I did not feel.
Lack of recognition is another one. And then it says love language as well, but there is a note that says like it is not the same as words of affirmation, because praise kink it doesn't mean just like including praise. It doesn't mean just saying like good girl or like you did good. It's more on the focus. So like focusing on their skill or their value and praising them for not just being like a good person, being like you're doing this so well, you're like amazing at this.
It's authentic. It's more like it's personal.
Yeah. And what we said, I think it was in the intro episode all those days ago when we were talking about praise kink, and we were like, you're gonna be praised, and I said, I don't know if I cut this out by then, but like I was like, lower your shoulders. There's a thing of those who find it hard to accept compliments can be attracted to it.
Yes.
Because it's not the same, but it's in the same like category in their mind as a humiliation tactic.
Yep.
Which like in a sexual way.
Shit.
I can speak to this.
This is deep. This is deep.
I know, right? Isn't it
crazy?
The same
thing. It's the same thing of like this person has noticed, this person sees me enough to say something about
it. Because I hate I am terrible with receiving compliments.
Me too.
I'm bad at receiving them from people that are intimate with me.
Yes.
I'm really bad at receiving compliments.
Yeah, like if you tell me my shirt's cute at the fucking grocery store, fine.
Yeah. A guy I've been on 2 dates with who's like, you have the most beautiful eyes. I'm like, thanks, that's really nice. Yeah. A friend saying, the way you carry yourself is something I aspire to do. And I will go, oh, okay.
Yeah, that was real.
And we did this. We had an accidental spirit circle when I was in Greece with some of my best girlfriends from high school. And we did an accidental spirit circle where we all went around and said something really nice. And it was us and like boyfriends / husbands were there as well. And they started with me, and they had like said it as a joke. We're like, let's all say nice things about Emily. And I went, oh, and my shoulders initially went up to my ears, hence why when I said it to you, I was like, this was me, this is how I take it, because I'm like, I don't know what to do when people are saying except for cry, and I don't want to cry right now.
It's a lot of pressure. It feels like it to me. It's the same energy as everyone singing to you at the Chili's. Like it's like, you know, like it's like I love attention when it's my choice.
Yeah, and on my end, like for me, the praise, humiliation, but also because I love when it comes to like dirty talk is I love a kind of condescending dirty talk, condescending praise, because it helps me, it makes me less embarrassed.
Okay.
So if it's, oh, you really tried to do a good job with that, didn't you? But you just didn't quite.
Wait, so that's not praise.
It's not praise, but
it's the humiliation tactic.
It's still the humiliation tactic, but it's somebody seeing you and acknowledging what you're doing and playing with
effort,
it.
Bitch.
Also, it's like somebody that's playing with it.
That's going to like, you could try harder next time, but like I see what you did there.
It's the flip side.
Try
of
harder.
It. It's the both
that hurts me.
Both
that made my
sides
butthole
of it,
clench.
Yeah, both sides of it are working, and both work depending on the situation you're in, and they're both the same mechanism of like, you're being seen, you're being acknowledged. This person is evaluating you in some way because you are like kind of the center of their world in that moment.
Yeah, I could definitely understand the power dynamic of like how that would affect certain people. If you're like, I struggle with authority figures and I want them to find me attractive, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Like I want to feel empowered around them, versus not. Whereas, like,
you want to be a CEO in the streets and a sub in the sheets.
Well, for me, one of my biggest fears ever, like for my entire life, is failing at something, like not doing your very best, not being the best at the thing.
I want to do a good job.
So, and like we talked about earlier, like being like part of kink is like playing on those fears and like what is it like in a safe space to be like, oh, you could really do better, couldn't you? And with praise, it's a similar thing of like, I'm not good at receiving compliments. And what is it like in a safe space to be like, you're doing a really good job and I'm really like proud of you and I appreciate you.
Star sticker.
Like both of those things are very like tied to each other, I think.
I feel you so hard, but they give me visceral
you know what my mind went to?
Oh my God, is it the capitalism in us where they're like, if you're not, you know, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean. It's like, you know, you want to be like always doing something productive. You know, that feeling you get when you're resting and you're like, I feel bad.
Or we
should be busy.
We just equate that with being productive though.
Exactly. But this is what I'm saying. Maybe the praise kink is very much the like, well, at least during sex, I know I'm being productive. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, he's telling me I did a good job. Or she's telling me I did a great job.
I think there's an element of that, but like more for praise kink, like, especially in a book, but I guess like in real life, it's more like you want to make sure your partner is having fun or something like that. So if you're getting like, oh, good job, good girl, you know they're having a good time and that makes you feel
feedback.
Good. It's positive
that's
feedback.
A big reason in my real life. Oh my God, this got deep and heavy. I feel like a therapy session.
Get ready for this fucking
season.
I thought we were going to talk about porn.
We're getting to the porn.
We already have been a little bit.
Yeah, we've gotten to the porn. Do you have anything else to add about praise kinks?
No, I've got some like fan fiction specific stats, but that's
do you want to say them now or do you want to say them when you get to your story?
I can say them now.
Sure.
Just mainly that praise kink is everywhere. In fanfic.
It's everywhere.
It's a lot. Yeah, like I feel like even because there were some stories that I looked up and was reading and I was like, there's not a lot of it's just kind of sprinkled
for the
through.
keyword.
And it's a very easy common tag. So there's like 102,268 works with that tag on Ao3 that are explicit. So like it's just a lot of stuff.
I hate to be this kind of not smart person, but when you say numbers like that, they mean nothing to me. So when we say 103,000, how many works are total on AO3? AOC?
Millions?
I don't know. I would
but
say
like,
millions.
what are we normally like when we're like in the percentages? What are our normal?
I would call that a high percentage.
That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay.
Yeah, because there are millions of fanfics, but they are so diverse and specific.
You're not getting the same niche. I got you.
Basically, in my view, when we go over 75,000.
Okay.
We're at a high number.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I was like, I shouldn't detour with this, but I am curious.
That's probably something that somebody else has thought. And there's also what I noticed, because I was like, is there a lot of overlap between this and other tags?
Okay.
There's a lot of overlap between teacher-student fics.
Okay.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
And a lot of overlap with
one of my no-nos. I do not like that because as a former teacher, I'm like, absolutely the fuck no.
Yep. And DDLG.
What's
stuff.
that?
Daddy
dumb
little girl.
Yeah.
All of age.
Of age, like a type of kink play.
Acting more age play.
Okay.
But there is a lot of overlap between, I think, the power dynamics of it all, I guess, is where that gives me
and
is
the
like
psychology of it.
The psychology of it, of like there is an authority figure in this scene or in this story giving the praise to the other person who is doing the good job. There's a lot of power dynamics at play, I think, when it comes to this. If you're looking at a story that is really like deep into the praise kink as a really key part of it. Yeah, I think it definitely like falls into more like, I think it falls into the gender normative like lines that you would think and like those types of things.
Right.
But that isn't to say that praise kink can't go the other way.
Yeah. Anything else about praise kinks from either of you?
No.
So we're going to start with my story today. You guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm born ready.
So we're starting out season 3, episode 1.
You're doing a great job. Oh my God. You're so beautiful.
You're really smart.
Okay, this is enough. That's enough. Thank you. Okay, so
you're so capable.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna have to do this to everyone now because I don't like that. So I read the book "'Tis the Season for Revenge" by Morgan Elizabeth. It is 310 pages, a dual POV, so both the guy and the girl. And it came out October 25th, 2022, almost exactly a year ago.
Cool.
How weird is that?
Cool.
So I have read 2 to 3 books before this. I've read a lot of books with praise in it.
Yeah.
And I really like it, but I kind of wanted something new, and I kind of wanted something that was like more fully about praise rather than just like a mafia guy.
I had a similar struggle too, because I've read a lot of stuff with praise kink, and I wanted something that really like heavily featured it.
Yes.
Which was actually harder to find in my bookmarks than I thought it would be.
Yes.
I'd apologize, but I'm not sorry.
No.
I'm not.
You're exactly
we
right.
love like finding new shit. I did read one. I'm not even done with it yet, but I found one because it's been shelved on like Goodreads as like praise kink a bunch of times, and it was called Glitch, and I was like, oh, okay, and it was just a porn without plot, like Kindle Unlimited.
Okay.
And I was just like, okay, I cannot, like, I need a story to tell, not just like the endless sex scenes.
Yeah.
So there was like 1 or 2 of those where I was like, okay, so I found this one, and I'm gonna tell you the beginning of it, and then I'm gonna ask you what you think it's based off of.
Okay.
Because it is based off of something.
I will say my pop culture references terrible, but I can.
You might be. This one is.
Who knows?
I think Jess might be able to get it. So we'll see.
I have faith in me. I'm not saying I'm a bad guesser.
So
I'm gonna put my full effort in.
Okay, good. So let's start. Abby is dressed as a bunny for Halloween. She thrifted these pieces.
Hugh Hefner's bunny.
A
no,
little. No, but like not the Ralphie from A Christmas Story. She has like a little pink skirt. She has like a little corset, but it's not too sexy, but it's not exactly modest.
Okay.
She has thrifted these pieces for weeks, and she is showing her outfit to her friends Cammie and Kat via FaceTime.
Who's the main character again?
Abby.
Abby, got it.
It is inferred that Richard, Abby's boyfriend, is going to propose to her soon, and she's getting dressed up for his Halloween party for his work. He is a lawyer at Schmidt & Martinez, and which is a big law firm in the city. He's been working there.
It's a double name. We knew it was a law firm. We knew it was a law firm. 2 names, law firm.
2 last names, law firm. In the 4 years they've dated, she's actually never met his coworkers, and she's never gone to one of the work parties. So this is a big deal.
A red flag.
Yes. Another red flag is that she has started to change herself a little bit to kind of fit the image that he wants. So a big one is that she has dyed her hair from blonde to brown.
Oh.
He said that to her?
He basically was like, well, more serious people have more brown hair. It's something like that, paraphrasing.
He sounds cool.
She is dressed in light pink, and this is a new thing kind of because she retired her pink sparkly days in college. So that was a direct quote.
That makes me a little sad.
I know.
TBH.
She wants to be the perfect wife to Richard, and once he's got the okay from basically his family and his coworkers, he's going to propose at this Christmas party that is up in the Rainbow Room on top of Rockefeller Center at Christmas. Oh, I already said that. Sorry.
This is why they call Richard, or this
Dick.
is why the nickname.
Yeah,
damn it.
Got you. Sorry, ruined it.
My punchline was ruined.
So we're learning all this as she's talking to Kat and Cammie, who are not hiding their disdain for Richard.
Okay, good. So we are casually talking about it, but as long as the friends are calling it out, that's good. Because it's hard to see when you're in it. You're like, you know what? He's real sweet, though. And
correct.
And to me,
I love a good friend group.
Yes.
Yeah. It's essential for
and
these.
Richard finally texts and says that he's there, and her friends are like, they're trying to hold back basically how much they hate him. And they're like, he won't even come up and get you. You have to run down to him. Because she lives on Long Island. He lives in Manhattan. Long Island is the only place she could like find a place to live. She graduated with it was a fragrance and cosmetics degree. It's like it's a degree, but it's in like something like that.
You can get a degree in fragrance?
I guess, according to this book.
Colleges will take money for anything, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, I guess. Did she study in Paris or something?
Nope.
Huh.
So she currently works at the makeup counter at a department store, but she really likes it. Yeah, she really likes it. She is like, I feel like I change women's lives when I give them this makeover, and it's great. And she's very passionate about what she does. So
I don't like either of these. Is this the mean kink? Because I'm about to mean praise. What's the opposite of praise? I'm about to shit talk these idiots.
Shit talk.
Shit talk.
Wait, why don't you like Abby so far?
First of all, The red flag she's ignoring, pissing me off. And the fact that she's changing herself. And I don't know. She just seems like...
Got it.
I don't know. Okay. Also, like...
The phrase, I want to be a really good wife for Richard, really rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah, that was where... I think that's where I completely tapped out. And then her being like, I just like to make other girls feel pretty. Like, girl, make them feel pretty for being in their normal face.
Fair. So
they ain't got to spend $50 on your stupid ass perfume degree.
But I feel like that gets better. That part gets better.
I wonder if that's. I honestly like to smell good though. So let's be real.
Too.
So she hangs up with her.
I will spend a lot on a perfume.
Well, and you're gonna use it for years. Anyways, she.
Sorry, you went full QVC on me.
So she gets in the car. She goes downstairs, gets in the car with Richard, and he basically looks at her in disgust and is like,
"It's because she's not blonde anymore."
No, because she's dressed like a bunny and he's dressed in a suit, and he goes, what the fuck are you wearing? She goes, it's a Halloween party. And he goes, no one actually dresses up.
Oh,
and then he goes, this isn't working.
Girl.
He goes, this isn't working for me. And he breaks up with her, and he's saying,
honestly, though, not the worst.
Yeah. He's saying these awful things to her. And I did not write them all down, but he actually smiles at one point. Like, he's like, you thought that this was a thing? Like that, like,
How
disbelieving.
Long were they together?
4 years,
bitch.
And
you thought this was a thing,
bitch. And then
if a man said you thought this was a thing after 4 years,
absolutely not.
Yes, so,
trash.
And they're parked in like the fire alley of her apartment. So she gets out, and this cop is like, he just walks up to her. He's like, are you okay? Like, you're just standing here. And she's like, I have my heart broken. And he's like, what? And she's like, oh, sorry. And like walks upstairs. And so she calls Cammy and Kat, and they're like, we're coming over.
Good.
And they bring booze and they start drinking.
Bless a good friend.
Right. Love that.
So Damian Martinez is the boss of the legal firm. He hates work parties, and he is bored of his life. And
the boss of the legal firm
that Richard works at.
Yeah, he's the other part of
Martinez and Schmidt.
Martinez
and Schmidt. Bored of his life. He's at the top of his game.
Yeah, he's a partner, baby.
And he's a partner. Bored, but he works all the time. But he's worked really hard to get where he is.
Yep.
And so,
but now he's got legal assistants.
Yeah, he's swiping. And he likes his coworkers.
Got time to swipe.
He likes most of his coworkers. And then Richard sidles up to him, and we hear his inner monologue. And Damien's like, this fucking chud. I hate this guy. Right. Yikes. Richard sidles up to him, and Damien is like, ew. Also, he's also like, Richard's like, hey, if you want to like fuck some babes, like I know some babes. And in Damien's head, he's like, who talks like this? What's wrong with this guy? But he can't fire him because he is Schmidt's grandson.
I do love the idea of writing the internal monologue to like somebody, like to like someone based on their thoughts. Already, I like this guy better because I already immediately know.
He's mature. He's no nonsense.
He knows that Richard's a piece
but
of
I
shit.
Also think that's just a really good writing idea is to go, you don't even need to see this man in action. You just need to know that he does not like this guy that you already don't like.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn,
okay, you're a good
really
dude.
Smart.
By the way, everyone is dressed up at this Halloween party except Richard. And,
good. And
Richard
did she went? She went in the had it. Okay.
She would have been great there. She would have been fantastic.
Oh wait, she didn't show up.
No, because they broke up in the car.
And she just went back to her apartment.
She just went back to the apartment. So
I was
shows up
thinking
alone.
She had to go anyway. Even okay. All right.
And Damien's like, why the fuck aren't you dressed up? He's like, oh, I thought this like wasn't a thing. And he's like, clearly not. It's said on the invitation, dress up. And then he sees Richard kind of eyeing someone, and he's like, oh, he's definitely fucking the paralegal. He's definitely fucking like Janice, the paralegal, or something.
Gross.
And he just keeps swiping. And that's it. So we go back to Abby. And her and her friends are just drunk, and they're eating French fries, and she's like, fuck it, I'm dyeing my hair back to blonde tomorrow.
Good
fuck
for
this.
You. It's gonna really ruin your hair.
Good for you. Bad for them roots.
Yeah.
And her friends find out, like, they start learning of all the stuff that she did for Richard, and they're like, you were basically his personal assistant. And she's like, no. And then they take her phone, and they're like, well, let's see all the shit that that you were doing. And they see the emails. She goes, you signed the emails as his personal assistant, hon. And she goes, well, he thought it would be like more professional, but I just cared about him, so I like wanted to do this for him. And she like slowly is the rose colored glasses are coming off, and she is realizing how used she has been for the last 4 years.
That's rough.
But she realizes that she's changed herself for a man. And all three of them get really worked up and drunk. And Cam and Kat basically
it's a canon event.
Yes. Yeah, it is. They take her phone and they sign her up for a dating app. And she is like going through her closet and she's throwing out all the like boring conservative clothes that she bought for Richard, and she's
fuck a turtleneck.
She's like, yeah, I'm gonna go buy the clothes I want to buy. And I was like, yes, absolutely, yes.
She got rid of all the pastels and only got hot pinks and glitter.
And after swiping for a while,
she just searched Barbiecore on Shein.
Yes, this is all me. She takes the phone, she's swiping, and for a while, and then she freaks out when she gets matched with Damien Martinez, who she knows.
Does she know?
Is the boss of, because
she
Martinez.
But she hasn't met him in 4 years.
No, they've never met. She never met any of coworkers.
But she knows that it's him.
She knows that it's him. Yes.
Because she was sending emails as the person.
Yes.
She says, I've been emailing on this man's behalf for 6 years.
And in a drunken haze, she stands up. She goes, I'm gonna fuck Richard's boss.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, girl. Yeah.
And both her friends are like,
Martinez.
Both her friends are like, hold on, roll that back. What are you gonna do?
Absolutely.
And she's like, and I wrote,
this is a relatable story.
Right? The plan for revenge is as follows. She will fuck his boss and date him and will be his date for the Christmas party. And when Richard sees her on the arm of his boss, he'll realize what he lost. And also then she goes on a rant saying that Richard is going bald and has a small dick. But it's not to get Richard back. It's to more be like,
it
fuck
did sound
you.
revenge body for a moment. And I don't
okay.
like that.
That was my one kind of like qualm with the book of like, it sounds a little like I'm going to do it to get him back. But she tries to lay it on thick.
That can also be your initial motivation, because I'll sometimes do that with like any motivation's good motivation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to me, I'm like, it's not the worst.
If it gets you going.
Yes.
But
as
the
long
author
as that's
here,
not the reason you stick with it.
Right.
Yeah. The author here lays it on thick and has Cammy and Kat, the two friends, be like, okay, I thought we just had 2 hours of being like, we hate this guy. And she's like, no, it's to be like, I'm better than him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he basically dumped me because he thinks I'm not good enough.
I'm gonna prove I'm good
and
enough.
I'm better, and I can do better than him, and I can still be at the same party and be myself and da da da. So it's like it's kind of this all encompassing thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's when I got back on board. Now pause.
Legally Blonde.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's inspired by Legally Blonde.
As soon as you said the bunny costume,
outfit, yep.
Yep.
So did you
the paralegal?
Yep.
Yeah. So did you get that too? What were you doing?
I didn't remember that we were guessing. So no.
cut that.
But also when you said Legally Blonde, I was like, oh yeah.
Okay, so the three drunk friends start writing down what they know about Damien Martinez, which is only 3 things: that he likes whiskey, that he likes country music, and that he has a type, which is curvy blondes. But Kat is like, what if he ends up being really nice? But Cammy has a history of being fucked over by guys, and they make it a point to talk about that. So it's the angel and the devil on Abby's shoulder for the rest of this book, basically. So this was October 31st. The rest of the time we have dates to see how it
the veil was thin.
The other side was there. So November 6th, Damien is leaving work early for a date with who we presumably assume is Abby. And Richard stops him in the office and is like, what the fuck? Where are you going? You're a partner. Shouldn't you be working late with the rest of us?
Also, why would he be talking shit like that?
Because he's the other partner's grandson.
Yeah.
And he expects to be made partner this year. Richard
he's old
does.
Richie Dick.
Right. He's just got like a big
Dicky
head about it all.
Yeah, Dick has a big head. And Damien kind of puts him in his place in front of the rest of the office.
Small dick, big head.
Yeah, small dick, bald head.
Big bald head.
He puts him in his place and he goes, what the fuck is on your is that glitter on your suit? And he goes, yeah, an ex of mine put glitter in the vents of my car. And I was like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
You can't really get that out. Isn't that good?
I've heard that one before. I've never done it, but I've heard it.
I haven't either, because that sounds like hell.
Yeah, if you poured in apparently like that top part of the vent so that it'll blow out when they hit their air conditioner.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
There's no way you're getting
he
that
just
out.
said an ex put glitter in the vents, but I don't know if it's for the car, but I would assume it's the car, not the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The house would be to a whole other level.
Yeah. I'm going to sprinkle in things throughout the story, too, of what she does, because when they were getting drunk and they were realizing that she did so much for him, it was like she took care of his coffee order in the morning. She took care of his tailor. Like, she sent shit to the cleaners. Like, she ran his life.
Oh,
wow.
You mean a classic hetero mommy / this is a giant baby in a man costume?
I guess.
Yep.
I've never not mommied a fucking straight man that I've dated.
The trap is real.
The trap is real.
I get that.
Even if he doesn't actually set it, the trap is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Abby and Damien meet at a restaurant. It's like a nicer restaurant, and he has kind of a private area.
Denny's.
It's a Denny's with a private room. And Abby is like, wow, this guy is super hot. Oh my gosh. And she shows up in this tight pink dress, pink nails, blonde hair. She's like, I feel fucking fabulous.
Good
and I
for
know
her.
he's going to like this as well. But like, this is what I miss wearing. So I was like, okay, I can
Great.
get on board with both this. And again, her like aim is to be like, I'm going to fuck Richard's boss. Which I was like, absolutely, yes. And
It's good to have a destination in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have a goal.
And she sits down and she realizes as they start talking, Damien's actually really nice.
Yeah, we're vibing.
He's not like Richard at all. She assumed like she's heard all this shit from Richard being like, yeah, my boss sucks. He's the worst, da-da-da. And he's turned out to be a really lovely guy. And he orders champagne for the table. And she's like, actually, can I have a whiskey? And she kind of turns to him and she goes, ugh, I've had such a day. Because she knows that he likes whiskey. And he orders like two champers, 2 glasses of Macallan.
I'm just like not like other girls.
I like whiskey.
I'm a guy's girl.
Jess, don't you drink whiskey?
Yeah, because I like it.
Oh,
And to be fair, it doesn't
and
really
that's
matter.
fine. It doesn't matter.
I wasn't mad that she ordered the whiskey. I was mad when you said it's because she knew he liked whiskey.
Right.
Well, so
and
it
that's been her fucking personality
Yes.
this whole fucking time.
But now it's with a purpose rather than
but
it's
it was with
for
a purpose
herself.
before. It was
Yeah.
like a
Well, it was to please a man before. Now it's to please
a man.
herself.
No, now it's still to please a man, but for her.
Still
Yeah.
for her revenge plot. But we can forgive it.
yeah.
Yes.
It's
So-
at least a better man to please.
Yeah.
So he ends up ordering. He's like champagne for the table. I'll have 2 glasses of Macallan, water, and then bread. And he's like, "Have you eaten?" And she's like, "Wow, that's pretty personal." And she has this flashback to Richard being like, "You shouldn't have eaten so much today."
Oh, yeah. I've been there.
Yep.
That
So,
sucks.
and he's like, "Well, I just didn't want you to drink on an empty stomach. Like, I'm just, you know, this is the first date. We have hopefully a long night. I just didn't want you to get like fucked up." And she was like, "Oh, that's nice." And I go,
Now she's all caught off guard.
she
and
goes,
feeling weird.
"What?" And I say that a lot. She goes, what? And like that's just her whole reaction.
Yeah.
She reminisces on how some of her clothes didn't fit correctly, saying Richard and her would be in bed and he would grab her hip and would say, "Maybe you should go on a run in the morning." And this is what triggered me.
I'd go on a run right fucking then.
This was the bullshit that I texted Jessica and going, "I'm having a time." So
Yeah.
that's where I've come in. And so she's kind of had this issue with food, but she ended up dropping a lot of weight with Richard, and she is now happy that she is eating, she's happier to get her curves back is what she said, which I go, that's a really nice thought to have. Mm-hmm. And I wish.
Yeah, she's trying, she's not under the thing with him anymore, and she can actually figure out where she should be for herself.
Yeah.
Rather than whatever the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
Where like, yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of us have had that journey. Like, you get out of a relationship, and you're like, oh yeah, it's nice to like eat things.
Yeah.
And be in my body.
It kind of reminds me, did you ever read the Bridget Jones Diary book?
No.
I did, and it is.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
No,
There's a part.
actually, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
It's not a
exactly
spoiler
what you're talking
alert,
about.
but she gets down to her goal weight, and everyone's like, "You look sick," and she's like, "What?" And I was like, "Interesting." So I always liked that, you know. So, and this was where the praise comes in very heavily in this book.
This is why it's good, because she's an insecure girly.
So
Okay.
the whiskey comes to her table, she drinks it and immediately chokes. And she's like, "Oh, it's harsher than I'm used to. This is not the age.
Yeah, this
the
isn't the
age that I'm-
Macallan I normally get.
cover.
Yeah.
What is
he's
this, a bullet rye?
And he just laughs and he's like, sure. And he hands her the champagne. She's like, this is so much better. And she's like, I'm more of a fruity drink kind of gal, which I'm like, fuck yeah, so am I. They actually talk about things.
Yeah, that's why I'm bitter about the lie. Like, bitch, don't lie. Like, get your Mai Tai. Get your
Oh,
Mai
yeah.
Tai. Girl, get your White Claw on.
They actually talk about their parents. They talk about where they grew up. She gets worried he's going to scoff at her career. And she does, makeup for a living, but she really likes what she does. And he's like, that's actually great. If you're passionate about it and you like it and you feel good about it, then who gives a fuck? And she's like, oh, that's nice. And the date nears the end. The dinner is nearing its end. And he says, he wants to be honest. And she panics thinking that he's like married or that, he's something. And he's not. And he goes, I'm not looking for anything serious right now. But if this moves forward, like we would be exclusive. But I just don't want like a wedding. I don't want to get married. but like if I would like to see you again and if you would too, I won't be seeing anyone else, but this isn't gonna like, I don't want to be someone's boyfriend. And in her head, she's like, fucking perfect. Yes, I can fuck his boss. I can go to this Christmas party and then I can get the fuck out of Dodge. She's like, I love that idea. So, and she appreciates the honesty and she's like, yeah, I'm in. And so he's like, okay, do you want to like go to a walk and go to a bakery or something and like walk around? And she's like, absolutely. It's November in New York and she did not wear a coat.
Oh, babe.
Which infuriated me.
Yeah.
And
why?
It's giving high heels and Sex in the City. Like, bitch.
That's what
yes.
Yes, 100%. And he goes, where's your coat? And she goes, you don't cover a dress like this with a coat. And I said, okay, no, that's how we catch a cold, you dumb fuck.
Yeah, and also that's the whole point is the reveal. You wear the sleeping bag over your cute ass fit and then you let go of your sleeping bag and you go, damn, I look good under that blanket.
So he gets his coat and he like crooks his finger and she comes and he like turns her around and he like places it over her shoulders. Cute. And I was like, that is okay, cute. Okay, that was kind of cute.
That is sexy.
Oh, and I said, and why am I turned on by this? And Damien, also I should say, actually, I'm going to wait to say that. So Damien is very enchanted by her. They talk and they get hot cocoa. And he mentions the holiday party because they pass Rockefeller Center on their walk. And she's like, oh, what a holiday party. Do you bring guests? She's like, hee hee hee. And he's like, yeah, maybe like one day, like, I don't know, like if things go well, like, you know. And he's like, it would be an honor to have you on my arm. You're so beautiful. And she has this look that makes him think like, who the fuck made her feel like this when I tell her she's beautiful? And she's like, me? Who? What? And I was like
so it's from his POV and he's like kind of like noticing how much of a reaction she has to that.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah.
He's obviously not a man who's dated any woman in today's society because I don't think I know one woman who I've ever met.
He's a busy lawyer.
He's been working.
Giselle Bundchen thinks she's hideous. Like, what are you fucking talking about? And all women are indoctrinated to be like, we're the ugliest, no matter how gorgeous. And like, to me, I'm like, and that's not given the bad relationship. Yeah. But at least he's noticing, and that's the whole point of the praise king.
Hot.
Yes. It's hot when someone notices
that like she's got trauma and he's going full therapy on her.
Hashtag notice my trauma, you know?
Honestly, yeah, it's hot.
Yeah. That's the second t-shirt right there. Notice my trauma.
Notice my trauma.
I'm writing it down.
And he we do need more ideas for t-shirts.
I'm fucking writing it down.
Femmes Reading Filth at Etsy.com. So, and right there on the street, he's like, how could someone make her feel like this? Da, da. He kisses her, and it's a great kiss. There's like, there's all these emotions, and there's all this electricity, and it's zing, zing, zoom, and it's a beep, boop, bop. And he's like,
it's a zing and a zoom.
It's a zing, zing, zoom. And he goes, do you want to come back to my place? And she's like, absolutely. So
I've been trying to smash.
So they go smash. So they go back to his and they make out, and then he takes her to his room, and she like walks around. She's like, this is just what I would expect. It's like high ceilings, big fucking things. Everything is gray and brown, but like in a chic way,
lawyery way,
in a lawyery way. And he takes her to his room, and she undresses, and he's like, oh my God, she's amazing. And she's staying there in her undies, and she starts to kind of like hide her body with her arms.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, no. And he goes, your body, the quote is, your body is mine now, and I love it, and you'll never hide it from me. And I don't care if you think you have a belly. And he starts touching her, and he's like, this is mine. I don't give a fuck what you think. Like, you're gorgeous, you're hot.
Okay.
I'm
into that too.
Right.
I'm into it.
He's sweet.
I'm
immediately annoyed by her, but
I know.
It's because I've been.
We all see ourselves in this.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah. And so, and he goes, if we do this, you never hide. Do you understand? And she goes, yes, Damien. And he goes, good girl.
You need a Damien, a good girl.
Which is number one, our first good girl.
Our first good girl. Are you counting all of them?
I should have. I lost count.
Yeah, that's really funny.
I lost count at all the good girls.
It's okay. We got one at least.
There's quite a few more. And there's quotes. So I had to write down the quotes in this because I'm like, these are the praise. Like, this is what this is all about.
I will say sometimes good girl comes off as like a dog thing.
Yeah. I feel like if I was
like, take your arms down. Good girl.
Yeah.
Good girl.
No, this is
good
like
girl.
Good girl.
Just a good baby.
I would assume it's like more slow, like,
yeah.
Good girl.
Good girl.
So he says,
it's British, it's different.
Good girl.
It's a good girl.
Oh, that's a good girl.
That's worse. We gotta stop.
So
wildly off track there.
Are not clear. He goes, I can't wait to taste you. He eats her out, and she's never had it before.
What? 4 years
In
with
her
that
whole
motherfucker.
life?
Fucking dick, bro.
And he's like, wait, what? And she's like, guys,
Richard?
I thought guys don't like to do that. And he's like, motherfucker.
Ma'am.
And she goes, I want your eyes on me when I fuck you for the first time. He says, you're made for me. He says, fucking beautiful. He gently squeezes her neck, and he can like feel her tighten, you know? And he goes, my girl likes that. And I was just like, okay, Damien.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of the my. I'm a big fan of my girl.
My girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
My girl
My
rather
girl.
than good girl is a bit more hot, I'd say.
Yeah. It's giving stung by bees rather than dogs.
So hot. Being
So
stung
hot.
by bees.
Being a corpse
God.
stung by bees.
Wow.
So afterwards, she's like, okay, like, I'll go. And he's like, why? And she's like, well, men like you have important jobs and need to sleep, right? And he goes, well, I'm sorry. Is your job not important too?
Yeah.
He goes, don't fucking pull this shit. You're not just anything. Are you passionate about what you do? This won't work if you see yourself as lesser than me.
Yeah.
And she goes, the noise
Okay,
in my
Damien.
mind silences.
Not Damien being a therapist.
And I wrote, Emily is having a response to all of this, and boy, is it something.
Boy, is it something.
Boy, is it something.
So is Julie.
I can't wait to find a man who makes the noise in my mind silence. Okay, so
Yeah.
she wakes up the next morning. She's gonna sneak out, and he's like, nope, and he like pulls her back in, and he insists on driving her home. They're in Manhattan again. She lives in Long Island, and he gives her sweats to wear, and she just feels kind of confused because she's like, I was supposed to just bang him and kind of use him, and now I'm like, this guy seems pretty great. And so her and Kat and Cam are all together, and she's kind of telling them about her night as they get 300 keys and put little signs on it that say, if lost, please call, and then Richard's number.
Amazing.
And they scatter them all over New York.
I really appreciate this like petty
Isn't that
side plot
amazing?
of like just her friends being like, yeah, how are we gonna fuck with him?
100%.
That is so petty and
I
wonderful.
love it.
And she's telling them how sweet Damien is, and he even talked to Fred the doorman, and in the 4 years that Richard dated her, Fred never liked Richard, and he would barely ever talk to him, and he took the time to talk to Richard, or to talk to Fred about soccer and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And Cammie's like, stick to the plan, and Kat's like, maybe you shouldn't stick to the plan. But Damien calls later, and he says he has to cancel their date tomorrow because his pro bono case is getting moved up. It's a domestic abuse case, and he
seems unnecessary to
All right.
say.
well,
All right,
so here's the back. It goes into this. So he says like this woman is trying to get custody of her children. Her current husband like beat her up basically. And he's like,
tale as old as time.
Unfortunately.
and he asks if he can bring the client, Sharon, to her because she feels really like not good about how she looks and about the bruises on her face. And so she's like,
holy shit, this is dark
Damn.
as this took a turn.
there you go.
Damn.
And
But also
so-
to get you emotionally invested because he's a kind and caring person.
Yeah. And
that's
Abby's
what
like,
she does.
absolutely. Yeah. She's like, bring her over.
This is why I do what I do. This is why I work at the MAC makeup counter.
So Sharon comes the next day. They chat. They chat about the home life. We learn that Abby's home life was like a little rough. Like her mom was a drunk. Her dad cheated. Hannah,
Her mom wore Clinique.
her mom
It was
Clinique.
disgusting.
She's a Mac gal. And so that night, Damien calls Abby to say the case went well, and it's only the first step, but like things are going well. And he says that he feels like he's in high school chatting with a girl on the phone, and she makes a joke she makes a joke about like how back when dinos roamed the earth, like haha, because he's a little older than her. And he says, I should spank you for that. And then it turns into phone sex, which leads me to number 2, which I called, Can You Hear Me Now? Good girl.
Aha!
Nice.
There it is.
Nice.
And he talks her through fingering herself while he jerks off, and there's just a lot of good girls.
Love
Lots of
that.
good girls.
And he
Love
talks
that.
her through it. So this is part of the 310 pages we're talking about.
Yes.
Looks like I'm gonna download a book.
You're welcome. And this time there's a lot of "you're my filthy gal" kind of talk. So it's like an extra
You're
element.
my dirty good girl,
Which I like more.
which is coming off more dog now that
So
who's a dirty girl.
Can't get away from
who's
it.
my dirty girl? So the next night they're actually on a date, and she keeps getting texts from Cammy and Kat, who are at a unnamed boy band concert, and we learned that they've gone to every concert every time they're in town, but she didn't go this year because she didn't have enough money,
And they said bye bye bye.
and Damien is like, oh, I have box seats at Madison Square Garden, do you want to go?
Oh my God.
And she's like,
Did he take the girls too?
yes.
Yes.
So she
Not
Cammy,
him taking the girlfriends.
Kat
That's
and Cammy.
clutch right there.
That
If you brought my
is.
besties to
Oh
what
my
they
God.
wanted to do,
It shows a lot about like what your
and
intentions
if you listen,
Yes.
yeah. Okay, so Kat and Cammy meet them there, like in the lobby, and they all go up. Cammy's kind of a bitch because she's very much like stick to the plan,
Right.
But it's fine. And he learns that they kind of make mention to Abby's ex, which he still doesn't know is Richard.
Okay.
Like this
Right.
has still not been mentioned at all. He learns that her ex didn't like it when she wore pink, and he says that she should always wear pink when she's around him.
Cute.
In the car home, he's like, you were so happy and carefree tonight, and I just wish you felt comfortable enough to do that with me all the time.
How long have they been hanging out?
Like 2 weeks.
Okay.
And-
Okay,
and
but still
she-
more than a couple days,
Right.
Okay.
And like 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, they've
And she's
they've
also
talked a
pretty
lot.
long enough. Yeah,
fresh off of that breakup too.
Yeah.
yeah, that's fair.
And
I just thought it was like
she-
night 2, and he's
No.
like, "You're
Right.
so carefree." Versus at my house
It's
last
it's
night.
been a couple of weeks,
Yeah.
it's almost Thanksgiving, so it's
Okay.
been almost a month at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
since the book came out.
Since the book came out. And so she goes, I wish you felt comfortable enough to do that with me. And she talks about how her ex wanted a serious girl and that she changed herself and she's trying to get back to herself. And so little by little, she feels like she's coming back. And he's just like, that motherfucker. So Thanksgiving is coming up and she's going home to her sister's, but he has no plans because his family currently lives in Florida. And she invites him to go with her to New Jersey, which is where she's from and which is where her sister still lives. So he says he's going to pick her up and they'll drive to New Jersey, and then she has a flashback to Richard, who was always meeting her places and ignoring her for work. So he never came back with her. He never like picked her up anywhere. It was like a whole thing. They go, he meets,
sucks.
he does suck. So they stay in the cottage behind her sister's house. It's like a tiny little pool house kind of thing. And they had a great day meeting the whole family and everyone's so happy. And he says he's thinking of the idea of kind of like settling down. And she's like, oh, fuck. And she starts trying to tell him like the real reason as to why they've met and been going out this whole time,
Right.
because she's now starting to develop feelings for him. And it's clear that he is developing feelings for her. But he keeps being like, shh. It's the holidays. Don't tell me. It's the holidays.
Okay.
And he goes, we'll have a serious
Wait till
talk.
after Christmas.
He's like, we'll have a serious talk later. And then they make use of the alone time in the cottage,
I don't want to buy you a present yet.
which leads to number 3, which I got a little lazy in the names. Said being the most obedient gal.
Ooh.
It's a generic one. Lots of good girls. Her following instructions a lot.
Okay.
And I was like, there's better sex scenes in this. So needed to mention it. Not worth describing.
Okay. An obedient girl.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yeah. Hey,
Thank you.
my candor is here. Candor?
Candor?
They're laying in bed and she tries to tell him again, but he's like, unless it's that you're actually married or like a gold digger or a murderer, I don't want to know until after the holidays. And so she's like, okay, if that's what you want. And she's feeling really guilty, and he asks her to the Christmas party finally. And she's on the phone with Cammy and she's like, I've got to tell Damien.
Yeah.
But then as she's on the phone with her, she gets a text from Richard. And it says, out of the blue, and he's asking her to remove any and all social media with the two of them because he doesn't want to be seen with her.
Oh, fuck you.
Wait.
Yeah.
Do we know why?
Nope. Don't know why. And she's like, oh, fuck, I can't stop the plan. This is why I'm doing this. I don't feel guilty anymore. And Cammy's like, yas, which I was like, Cammy, get your shit
Also,
together.
you don't get to do that. You don't get to say like everyone else eternal sunshine me. Like you can't just like have
Yeah.
people delete. You can delete your social media,
Right.
but you can't make your fucking ex delete. What the fuck?
Yeah. He's
no.
an entitled piece of shit.
Yeah, fuck no.
Yep, he
I'd be
sucks.
like, I would be posting old kissing photos at the waterfalls.
He's the worst. He's the worst.
I'd be tagging that motherfucker in all our couple pictures.
So like a few days later, Damien surprises Abby with a night on the town, and he surprises her with her sister and brother-in-law, and they go see the Rockettes, which is, she had always wanted to see it. And his internal monologue is like, oh my God, I like her a lot, blah, blah, blah. And Damien, we find out Damien wins the court case with Sharon, and it's a day before the Christmas party, and he's going to go celebrate with Abby at her place because he doesn't want to celebrate with anyone else. He's so excited. And so it's the day of the party, and she's working with Kat at the makeup counter, and she's saying that she needs to confess to him before the party. And Kat picks up Abby's phone because it was there's a text, and she's like, "Can you read it to me? My hands are full." And Kat's like, "I'm sorry, he calls you his naranja," which
his orange. And she explains like, "Yeah, he's been saying it like almost the whole time we've been together. Why?" And Kat's like, of Latina descent, she's like, "This is a saying. It's like you're the other half of my orange. Like you're like my soulmate. Like that's the saying." And Abby's like, "Oh fuck!" Like this makes me feel even worse now because like he's my orange, but I just feel bad and I had to tell him all this.
That's so cheesy and very cute.
It's so cheesy and I love
it's
it.
The other half of my orange.
My naranja.
My naranja.
I'm so white. My naranja.
My naranja.
My naranja. So he shows up later to pick her up for the party, and he's like, "What are you wearing?" And it's like a sleek conservative black dress. And he's like, "This isn't you. This isn't what you want to wear."
Damn.
And he goes to her closet and he picks
Spin
out
move.
this
She's in a fucking Barbie dress.
Yeah, he picks out this like champagne-y pink like glittery dress. And he's like, "This is you." And she's like, "I did want to wear that dress." She's like, "Perfect." She keeps trying to tell this fucker, and he keeps interrupting her with fucking sex. And I'm like, just let her fucking talk, Jesus.
Yeah.
Which goes to number 5.
Wait.
Oh, go on.
How many times was he trying? Like what? What do you mean?
She like during this whole exchange of like, "This isn't you. Let me get you a different dress." And she's like,
And
"I gotta
just
tell you something."
in between.
And so they start fucking, and I call this eating out before dinner with a surprise.
Cute. Nice.
Oh wait, or is that number? Did I misname these?
That's okay.
Emily.
I did. I forgot a whole part. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Come up with one on the G spot.
He asks her if dinner can wait at one point, and they have sex, and he calls her my dirty little whore. It's a whole thing. I call eating it out before eating out. Number 5 was called, "Oh my God, Abby, get your head in the game," because she's got to fucking tell him about this whole Richard thing, but she doesn't because she's blinded by his penis, as we all are.
Yeah.
So they have sex, and then they go to the party, and they run into Richard, and he's like, "Oh, I know you," and then he walks away, and she's like, but she's like dazzling everyone at the party. Damien's looking at her. He's clearly in love with her. And
she's like swept away by
very swept away, but everyone else is like charmed by her, and she's being herself, and she's living her best life.
Not him going, "Oh, I know you," and that.
It's like, oh,
bitchy man.
Oh, okay. And so Schmidt, the older partner, is making his speech, and it's a great speech. And Abby goes, "Except for one thing, I realized that Richard didn't get the partnership that he thought he was going to get. So he did not get his big."
Good. It wasn't Schmidt, Dick, and fucking Martinez.
Wasn't Schmidt, Dick, and Martinez. So Richard, he doesn't get the promotion, and it's awkward, and he kind of goes away for a bit, and Richard comes back drunk and confronts Abby, calling her a whore. And I said, we all saw this coming. How did she not see this coming? Oi, okay, so Damien learns the truth, but Richard keeps saying bad shit, so he decks him and then walks away.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for him to punch Richard.
He keeps being like, "Oh, don't worry, you can have my sloppy seconds." And Damien's like, "Punch, I need some air," and walks away.
Great.
Abby tries to follow, and then Richard grabs her arm and keeps like verbally abusing her.
No.
And then Grandpa walks up, Schmidt, and steps in and is like, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Let go of this girl." I too
have been fucking Abby.
I am her
She's
real
my
love.
good girl.
And he's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? You suck as a person and a lawyer. You were never going to get promoted." And then he turns to Abby. He's like, "I saw the way Damien looked at you. Go get him." And she's like, "Got it." They're at the top of Rockefeller Center in the Rainbow Room. It's like 50 floors up or whatever. The elevator is like backed up. And so she takes off her shoes and runs down 50 flights of stairs.
Cinderella style.
Cinderella
for
style.
no man. For no person.
I ain't walking nowhere in New York without shoes on.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, and she
I would have
holds
worn
them.
sneakers to the damn party.
She holds her shoes, and then she gets down to the floor and she
Got
puts
it.
her shoes on. But she didn't have time to grab her coat, and she sees Damien across
This
the.
bitch hates us.
This bitch
She
hates
hates a coat.
coats.
She wants to be cold.
She needs a shawl.
Anti-coat.
She
She
needs
definitely
a
needs
shawl.
a shawl. And she runs across. She almost gets hit by 2 cars. She runs across the street. And she's like, "Damien, don't leave!" And he's like, "I wasn't leaving. I was getting air. I told you." And he's like, which I laughed so
It
hard
is
at.
kind of a classic good girl story to almost get hit by a car. And
Yeah.
it's the dog thing
the dog
again.
thing.
And
Dog
she
eater.
and she tells
It's the dog in her.
yeah.
She got that dog in her.
She tells him the whole story. She's like, "This is what really happened, but like I truly have feelings for you." And I'm so sorry, and this was real. And he was like, "I was just getting here. I wasn't leaving. I love you. Also, did you run down 50 flights of stairs? You hate cardio." And she's like, "I know." And he's like, "You did cardio for me?" And she's like, "Yes."
Wait, there wasn't another option?
No. Yeah. They basically both say, "I love you." And then it's Christmas and they're opening
And then it's Christmas.
presents. And he gets her tickets to Bora Bora. It leads to number 6, which I call Unwrap My Box, Sir.
Wonderful.
And they fall in love, and 3 years later, he proposes at the Christmas party on top of Rockefeller Center
In the Rainbow Room.
And that's
In the old Rainbow Room.
and that's 'Tis the Season for Revenge.
That was really good.
So my quick little game
Yes.
is to rank the revenge. So I didn't say all of these revenge things, but here are some of the stuff
That the
that they
friends
did.
do.
So I'd love you to rank it from
The key is a 10 out of 10.
5 to 1, 5 being like, or just like your, least favorite to most favorite.
Okay.
Here they all are. Keys all over the city.
Wonderful idea.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Glitter in the vents.
That's pretty good.
Changing his coffee/tailor orders. So he would have non-fat, low-fat, blah, blah. She changed it to like the fattest drink she could. And she told the tailor to take in all his pants 1 inch. Which I was like,
That's pretty good.
ooh, that's pretty
really
good.
good, like Mean Girl style.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. with
They
the bars.
ordered a shit ton of pizzas to his office,
Great.
and he had to pay for them.
Great.
And he doesn't eat pizza. And the last one was they posted his number on a fan site saying it was Harry Styles' leaked number, and he had to like disconnect his phone number.
That's my favorite
The
one.
friends are really funny.
They're really
Yeah.
funny. They're really
Honestly,
good.
their creativity is off the fucking charts.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I can't imagine. I know if I saw a key that said call this if lost, because nobody puts that on their keychain. Nobody puts if lost call this number
Yeah.
on a keychain. However, I would absolutely call because I go, oh my god,
I found your
you've
key.
lost your
Yeah.
key.
Yeah, I want to help.
Like you obviously are a key loser.
yeah, because you put this on. This
you
clearly
have
happens
this-
to you all the time.
That one to me is iconic.
Yes.
Especially
and they
because
spread it
around
all
New
over
York.
New
Yeah.
York.
New York City.
300 keys.
Yeah, that shit is unhinged.
I love the Harry Styles one.
The
though.
Harry
That's
Styles
probably
one,
my favorite
they're
one.
the same energy. They're
Yes.
getting a ton of phone calls. Like it's just overkill.
It's a
Those are
nuisance.
both really good.
I really like the coffee tailor order one because I'm like, that's kind of evil to take in all
Yeah.
his pants just enough
inch.
that you're like,
yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
like I
Is
was
this
going
me?
crazy.
Well,
Yes,
and I
me?
like that it plays on because what I was thinking when you were like describing initially, I was like, he really gave her a lot of power over his life.
Oh, yeah.
and I like that they're using that against him. Of like, he
Yeah.
gave her a lot of power and didn't think she would like ever use
Yes.
it against him,
Mm-hmm.
and now it is, and I enjoy that part of it.
And they're coming in the same ways in which he was taking the power, like the feeling body insecure or
Yeah.
feeling like
Yeah.
out of control of her own time and dignity, which was like I guess
Yeah.
the phone number situation. That's really good.
Yeah.
I can't rank them. They're 10
They're
out
all
of
too
10.
good.
Well, and honestly, I
What's
think
your top one is the keys? you said?
100%.
Yeah.
Anything with phone call, either one of the phone call ones, because I don't want a fucking
Because that's great.
random phone call
There-
ever.
There's one
No.
point where Damien, who still doesn't know that it's her ex, is like, yes, he just kept picking up and putting down his he would click like on off and put it down. He couldn't answer his phone all day, and I was like,
that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's really
Thank
iconic.
you.
Also, what great friends. Like,
Right?
what
Yes.
iconic friends to be like,
I would
hey, I know
love-
you've let this go, honey, but I haven't.
I know. I would love
'cause
to
that's
do that
me.
for someone.
Because I'm not, I'm not
I hold
that
a grudge
friend.
for someone.
I
Yeah.
like those friends. I need those friends. I
I'll be your
forget.
friend.
I forgive.
I
I
got you.
forget.
Yeah.
But
I forgive. I
need-
don't forget.
I smoke enough weed for all of us. I'll forget
Yeah,
for
you
you.
can forget it.
There you go.
But yeah, that was 'Tis the Season.
job.
Any last remarks before we go on to the next story?
Fuck dick.
Fuck Dick.
But you know what? I saw myself in Abby. That was really good.
Yeah. It turns because you're like, oh, this is awful, and then you're like, oh, it's because I have been that person.
Real talk though. For a second, I forgot you were telling me it, but I thought it was a true story.
Yeah.
Like, I was genuinely like, this is really deep. Like, who is she?
Yep. We've all been there in some version, unfortunately. Should we get into it?
Yes, let's get into it.
So, I don't know what was in the air, but you and I both picked revenge stories.
Yes.
I love a petty story.
Oh, yeah. We both
Petty praise, baby.
We both picked them. And I had a bit of a journey, like I said, because I knew when you picked this trope that I had read so many praise fics, but then I looked through the ones that I had bookmarked and I was like, they don't have I need...
That's not it.
Right. Like I was like, I either need more of it or I need a take on it that I'm not used to reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then this one came up and I remembered it. And it is a fairly well-known fic, but it gives it an extra spin that I really liked because I was like, I bet Emily is going to go heteronormative with this because she's straight.
You're so well versed. You're just so well versed in this that you're like, I saw this one and I remember a classic.
Okay, and I think because you have been on your Hermione fanfiction kick, I think you've probably read this.
Is this a Hermione?
This is a Hermione. And before we get into it, we need to do the we hate TERFs disclaimer.
Oh yeah.
We do not support J.K. Rowling by
fuck
talking
JK,
about
sorry.
Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling hates fan fiction,
Yep.
and this is my revenge on
Yes.
her.
Nice.
Is
I was
by
going to say, like, the
reading
books
all
are
fan.
inherently very queer.
Yeah, she can go suck a egg.
She,
Yeah.
the author, they're no longer hers.
No, they're not.
They
They
are
really
ours.
aren't because
They're ours
the amount of fan fiction I've read that has been better than the
Yeah.
source material. So this is Season Pass to This Ass by
Stop
mightbewriting.
it. Stop it.
You've read
Pass
Emily
to
is
This
high
Ass.
kicking, which makes me think she has
High-kicking.
read this fic.
You made me read this fic, and I fucking love this fic, and I am so excited for it.
The name of it already. Iconic.
Season Pass to This Ass.
Incredible.
6 chapters, so relatively quick compared to what I usually do.
So fucking excited.
And it's got 14,000 kudos, which is a lot.
Okay.
It's a fairly popular one. And it was finished in July of 2022. So a little bit longer than yours, but not much.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that
Yeah,
recent.
these are
Yeah.
recent as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I read it originally right after it came out because it kind of like everyone was kind of like, oh, this is fun. And we're passing it around to
The
each other.
pandemic ruined us all is what it is.
A little
Or
bit.
made us better.
Or made us better.
Or made us all
Made
go,
us
you know what? Now's the time to write
so
that
much
fanfic.
better. I am so excited that you're reading this today. I am so excited.
I'm about to buy a season pass
To
this ass.
Hey.
So yes, as we said, it's Hermione, and basically it's one of the
I'm an annual pass holder.
Boo.
Okay, that one was rough.
LOL. But basically, like, they're adults now. We're not really getting into the lore of Harry Potter. It's these characters. They're adults. They're living their lives. We're not going to examine, like, the source material.
Are they magical?
They are magical.
Okay.
We are in the magical world.
We still exist in the world. We just do not give a fuck about
We're not
the
talking about the
story.
war. Something happened.
Right.
They have careers now. They're
Yeah, we
past
grown.
it.
We don't talk about that
They're
summer.
like in their mid to late 20s,
Got it.
living their lives.
Yeah, it would be like us talking about high school,
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't
which
exactly.
is occasional, not always.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah,
God.
for sure. That's
Got
kind of
it.
where we're at. There isn't like they don't really say a specific time period, but that's
Right.
the
Okay.
vibe. That's
yeah.
the vibe.
Okay. But they're
Um,
still like, I like that they're still magical. That's
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, we're still definitely in the world. There aren't major changes.
If they're
to
not
that.
using magic to fuck,
Then I don't care.
I don't want it.
Then I don't want to fuck with it.
Emily, would you like to give us a breakdown of Hermione, both in pairing and also just who these two characters are?
Hermione Granger, woman after my own heart, brightest witch of her age, aka the Golden Girl, 1/3 of the trio, helped bring down Voldemort. Is the smart,
single-handedly, bro.
pretty much, is the smart one of the smart
the
best
smart
friend, smart female best friend of Harry Potter, Muggle-born. She is a bookworm. She doesn't care for. She's not really sporty. She's more the nerdy, in a library type gal. And then Draco Malfoy is from a pure blood family. He is one of the Sacred 28, which is the 28 pure blood families. He is the bully to all three of those. That's not in the. That's just a lot of.
That's because she's read a lot of
I've read so much fan fiction. Sacred 28 is a thing.
Fanon thing. So the Sacred 28...
But it makes sense.
So the Sacred 28, if you look at the lore, if you look at the family trees and the lore of Harry Potter, there are like 28 family names that you can tie all the magical bloodlines back to.
Draco is the bully. He and his family are in the books Voldemort's supporters. It is like widely
coming off very Aryan to me.
It
he
is
comes off
very
Aryan.
Also,
it's
icy blonde hair, blue eyes, very
the,
pale.
Like, comes from the Nazi type family vibe.
But in the last book, during the war, they end up turning the tides. Like it's a mother's love that saves Harry, and like the whole family tries to
they basically try to
defect and
leave because they're like, this is fucked, we need to stop this.
So it's
a big thing in like fan fiction, especially post-war stuff like this one, where it's like Draco has unlearned the toxicity of his family and has grown as a person.
He's tried so hard.
A try hard. Like, and he really was. Like, he came off as like, I was just young, raised into the wrong family, and I'm trying to make trying to make daddy happy.
That's a huge part in a lot of.
I need daddy to be happy, which is gonna come through. I have a feeling on the psychological aspect of the praise game.
Well, and a lot of like we were children. Like that's a big line in a lot of fan fictions of like we were children back then. Like you can't be held responsible for your actions as a child in a war that was you were brainwashed kind of thing, which he kind of was.
You were listening to your parents.
I mean, that's not the excuse. I'm not saying
you know what I mean. Like to me,
it's usually Hermione saying that.
I got you.
He's the one that's like, I'm trying. She's like, don't you're okay. You were a kid.
Baby. Yeah.
So that's do you need any more background?
No,
on that?
that's about those are the broad strokes, and then it's a thing of like
speaking of broad strokes,
shared trauma and like coming out of the war, and both of them have an element in their characters of like wanting to do a good job.
Okay,
Draco's definitely comes from though being like it's very well like established in the books that like his dad is constantly disappointed in him. And he is never as good as anybody else, etc.
His dad sucked.
So I will be reading the chapter titles for this one because I love them.
The title of the book. 10 out of 10.
It's great.
Fantastic.
And this is one I'm going to tell the whole story, but it's so well written as like I highly encourage a read. It's a quick read. It's a lovely time. And it's translated to Portuguese if that's your jam.
So we are reading it. We are reading it in the original Portuguese.
We are reading it in English.
Wait, is it originally Portuguese?
No, it's in English. Oh, okay. I just fucking with you.
I was like...
okay, so chapter 1 is entitled Hermione 0, Ron 0. So... we open on Hermione is arguing with Ron, who she lives with. They have been dating for many years. It's kind of implied that they have been dating like since very closely post Hogwarts. So this is like high school boyfriend type relationship. And they're arguing because he had a chance to get tickets to the Quidditch World Cup, got one for himself and his buddies, but not one for her.
Julie's face right now. Pure disappointment.
I would have left that motherfucker so quick. Here's the thing. I don't even need to like Quidditch, but I want to be invited.
And that's her argument.
That's her argument.
Yeah, that is 100%.
Like, what are you talking about?
They're not married.
Well, whatever. I'm your wife.
Yeah,
they're common law married.
Because Hermione is like, well, and the reason that he wants to go is
I don't want to go, but invite me.
For listeners who may not know, the Quidditch World Cup is basically like the World Cup in soccer in our world, or like the Super Bowl. Like it's a big fucking deal.
Bigger.
If you even though I don't care about football, if I got a chance to go to the Super Bowl, I'd go to the fucking Super Bowl. And so he's like,
fucking Ron.
His team, the Chudley Cannons, is playing for the first time in a long time. And she's
what
like,
they called me in college.
She goes like, I've gone to hundreds of these for you and Harry. Like, why wouldn't you think I would want to go? And he says, well, like if you're a fan, then like what were the Chudley Cannons
players?
Hate
this.
No, he did not.
Tell me what their names were.
Name a song.
In the tell me what their stats were for
I
the
won't
last
even
game.
let you get this sentence out because I'm so defensive. It's like when you're wearing the band shirt and then
Name a song from the original
one
album.
Metallica song. Shut up. It's a cute shirt.
Yep.
Let me wear this. Also, just like to me, I freeze under pressure of like answering test questions too. Like, fuck you. Don't ask me questions. I remember I used to do pun costumes was my thing. I was like the king of popcorn once where I was like, you know what I mean? Like that kind of shit. And I remember I said, I was like, oh, I love a pun costume. I was a pun costume once. And this guy at a party was like, no, you weren't. Name any of your pun costumes. And I couldn't. And he was like, yeah, I knew you were a lion, bitch. Like that kind of thing, like in front of everybody. And I, ever since then, I was like, I need to like study remember stuff. And I feel that way about a lot of fandoms. Star Wars, people that are super into something.
And they'll make you try to prove it or something. Yeah,
like the story. I know I'm not supposed to.
And everything Hermione does in it is going to really hit you hard.
Okay, all right. I'm buckled up.
So he does the, well, if you're a fan, then prove this thing. And she immediately freezes up and then gets embarrassed because she can't say anything because she goes completely blank and she's so
but she knows it but she can't
can't
even if it doesn't matter. Also, like, do I need to fucking study it to be able to go enjoy boys in tight pants throwing a Quidditch?
You shouldn't have to.
Throwing a Quidditch.
I was gonna say football, but that's not true. It's a Quidditch ball, a bludgeon, a bludger.
So she feels super betrayed, and they kind of like do that thing where neither of them has anything left to say, but neither of them are backing down, and so they just kind of quietly
Ron
go to their corner. Oh, I don't like Ron at all.
Ron always pisses me off.
I love a Ron bashing fic.
Oh, this is very much that.
I exclusively read Ron. There's a few that I don't that are fantastic. I exclusively read Ron bashing fics though, because they are so good.
And a lot of Hermione fics start with Ron being a shithead and it escalating from there. And so the way it's described in the fic is, quote, right on time on Wednesday nights, as usual on Wednesday nights, which this is a Wednesday night, he comes towards her to have sexual intercourse. The way that they have every Wednesday night since they moved in together for many, many years. And the way that it's all from her POV, and it's just unpleasant. She's not enjoying it. She knows that he's going to pump his fingers 5 times into her to get her ready. No. She counts it.
I'm upset.
She's desperately trying to get herself into it because she wants to be wet so it's not uncomfortable.
Stop it. This is not okay.
It's not okay.
I want to let all of your listeners know never there is no Wednesday nothing. There is a mood only. What the fuck? You're allowed to
Yeah. And she's just fine because just like this is the pattern. Like she's just gotten so used to the pattern.
Yeah, it's Taco Tuesday, baby.
And he is completely oblivious. Ron is having
it's almost Wet Wednesdays,
and that's what makes it worse. Is Ron is having a great time. Ron thinks
it's clear Ron's having a great time.
Yeah, exactly. And so she climbs on top of him because she's like, maybe this will be better, and she like, very uncomfortably because she's not into it, like straddles him and like gets on top of him, and as soon as he is fully inside of her, she just doesn't move, and she says, are you gonna take me to the World Cup?
Yes.
And he's like, what? And he kind of tries to like be like, we're having sex, and like thrust a little bit and says like, we kind of already talked about this, and can't we do this after? And she says, what, after you come and I don't? And he says, what do you mean? You always enjoy yourself. And she said, I think, and she's still straddling him. He is still inside of her.
I love this.
And she goes, I think I'm breaking up with you. And he goes, because I'm not taking you to a Quidditch match? And she says, yeah, that and many other things I think we've been ignoring, but like, this is the final straw for me. And then she gets off of it.
Nice.
And goes to the bathroom.
I love that.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. That's her final straw. She's just like, I can't do this anymore.
You know what? Good for her.
Yep. Mm-hmm. She's like, one last uncomfortable, horrible
I'm glad that
sex.
He didn't get to come.
Me too.
I'm glad he didn't get to come.
He probably did later in the shower.
Yeah, but not with her.
But we didn't read it, so it's fine.
Not with her. No, we don't.
It was sad.
I didn't read it. Sad. It didn't happen.
Didn't happen?
Nope.
If I didn't have to clean it up, it didn't happen. I like that. I like the no cummies for Ronnie.
I love the idea that they had this like it was a good position of power for her to be like, yeah, here we go, I'm on top. Are you gonna fucking take me to the Quidditch match?
Okay, chapter 2. Hermione 1, Ron 0.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Hermione notably, as soon as she breaks up with Ron, feels a lot better. And she moves out of their apartment and moves like south in the countryside to a town called Falmouth, and she lets Ron keep their apartment because she's just like, I don't want to deal with this. So And it's just happens
That's
to be
that real good breakup too. When you're
nice.
like, you know what? I don't even want my fucking furniture.
I wash
It's like
she
I want to
washes
be.
her hands.
Yeah, it's the like I literally don't want any of that. I don't want the apartment. I don't want the fucking feelings. I don't want the TV. Like take it all.
Nope,
I'll
I'm
start
done.
fresh. I'll be broke as shit for a while. Just leave me alone.
And it's just a coincidence that the Falmouth Falcons are the direct rivals of Ron's favorite Quidditch team, the
chubby
Cannons.
chubbies. The Chudley Cannons.
Saying the
And it's
Chudley Cannon is
Chudley
such
Cannons.
a weird. Like I've read the word Chudley Cannons. Chudley is such an odd
bad.
word. Yeah.
It's really bad.
It sounds like a chode, like Chudley, like
little
to
bit.
me.
Okay, if
like
you say
I'm
it with a
getting,
British
like,
accent, is a bit
Chudley Cannons.
The Chudley Cannons.
No, it's not
Chudley.
The Falmouth Falcons. That's
Falmouth
better.
Falcons is better than
Falmouth
the Chudley Cannons.
Chudley-
I like my son Chudley.
Yeah.
Chudley Cannon.
It's just a coincidence that the town that she moves to is the direct rivals, and also it's just a coincidence that she decides to learn everything about them and all of their stats, and that they're her new team.
Yeah, but see, this is still not passing the Bechdel test to me, where she's just doing it again. Stop it! Like you don't have to learn shit to spite your man. Just, I mean, I get it. It's the motivation again.
She's like, you know what? I want to start new
my own
and fresh
shit.
and my own shit, and I want to learn about Quidditch because fuck you.
But I'm definitely not learning your.
Yeah,
okay,
it's not like
okay.
I'm gonna learn Quidditch so I can come
Just
to you,
spite
and
you.
like
we said in
tell
the last
you.
one,
Yes.
it's the
It's
start of
motivation.
it. The start of the motivation can be kind of like,
Yeah.
and then it gets into like, okay, yeah, fuck that.
You're
Yeah,
right.
that's
You're
amazing.
right. I
Yeah.
changed my own mind in the middle of it.
Good.
Thank you all.
Well, and also Hermione Granger does not study halfway. So
Yes.
as soon as she
Yeah.
decides this is going to be my
She's
team,
full smitten.
she is memorizing stats.
Yeah.
She is she is reading histories of this team and
I love
like
that.
Yeah.
like reading about plays and different like formations.
Have we ever talked about diagnosing Hermione Granger?
Oh
She
girl.
is-
Oh girl.
No, don't ruin this for me. I don't want to die.
Just for the listener, in case you don't know what Quidditch is, because I'm going to be throwing out some terms. Quidditch is a game played in Harry Potter on brooms, and there's chasers, beaters, keepers, and seekers.
okay.
And that's important to know. So chasers are the ones that chase the ball. They toss it back and forth to try to get it into the hoop.
The quaffle.
The quaffle. The keeper is the one that guards the hoop. The seeker is like Harry Potter. They try to catch the golden snitch, which gets you a lot of points. And then the beater is like there's these cannonballs that fly around, and the beater hits them with a giant bat.
They play defense.
The bludgers.
The bludgers.
Yeah.
To try to knock other players off their brooms or just generally fuck with other people to keep the other team from scoring. That is important. That will come. It's like kind of like rugby and dodgeball and basketball in midair.
It's so hot.
Yeah, I think
It's so
about the
hot.
Seekers as a separate game, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
like everyone else
Yeah, they're
is
kind of
playing
their
like a
own thing.
normal football or soccer game,
Yeah.
and then
And then
there's like the
they're-
Seekers are playing the real game above, but everyone else is maintaining a game
Yes.
below to keep entertainment and all that. So like
Exactly.
the bludgers and shit and like all that.
That's
Yeah.
a great way to put it.
Yeah, that's right. And she just so happens to learn that Draco Malfoy is a player on the Falmouth Falcons and that he is a beater.
And they have no like. Does she remember him?
She
Yes.
remembers.
Okay.
She remembers
We
him.
do know him in this.
They
Okay.
do. She like sees because like they live in town. Like all the players live in Falmouth, so she like sees him across the way and is like, "Oh, okay, he's here." Notes that because he's a beater, he has like really broad shoulders and is like kind of strong now.
Also,
like,
calling him a beater sounds so sexy
It-
because
yeah.
he's a
So
beater.
He's a beater. He like hits balls with bats
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like hot.
Beater. I
whatever.
hardly know her. Oh wait, no, that
yeah,
sounds
yeah,
awful. Wait, no, that sounds
That
like
sounds bad. Roll it back. Roll it back.
Roll it
roll
back. Take it back.
Consensual.
And consensual beating.
Beat the pussy up. That kind of
Yeah.
beat.
Beat the meat.
So he has a reputation around town as kind of a ladies' man. And she goes, noted, and then continues on with her life and memorizing her stats. And so for her first game as like a season pass holder to this ass, she like goes all out. She like paints her face. She gets a jersey.
Shit. Okay.
She like has pom-poms. She's
She's
fucking
going
ready.
alone?
She goes alone.
Isn't that amazing?
It's kind of unhinged.
I love it.
She's so nervous.
unhinged.
She's like anxious, and she like
Yeah.
shows up, and it's like all the season ticket holders are in like the same section.
Okay.
So she like shows up and is alone, but then she gets all swept up in the game, and her and the people around her start like bonding because they're all
Yeah.
screaming, and like they go out to the pub after,
And they're
she,
like, fuck Chudley Cannon.
yeah,
Yeah.
and she starts to make friends like with her neighbors
Right,
and like
right, right.
other season pass
Community.
people. Yeah, and so she starts to get like genuinely
the snitch
really
was
into
in us
it.
all along.
Yeah. Like she starts to become like a real fan.
Yeah, okay.
And it's the stats and the getting the things right, but it's also being able to hang out with other people.
It is the community. I really think that I genuinely believe sports and concerts and church. It's church. It's the community. You're paying for the community. You're paying for the same feeling in there. It's why watching Taylor Swift on TV is very different than going to a Taylor Swift concert.
Absolutely.
It's why
Or just
being in
concerts
this
in general.
room versus a Zoom would be a different vibe.
Yep.
It's not the end. Like, yes, I'm still getting community. And
the
I still like
connection.
it, but it's like there's something about being in the room with other people feeling the same feelings as you know what I mean, on the same trip as you know, like it's like there's something really cool about it, and I think that's why sports are so popular. It's like the only way traditionally men are able to bond like that, in a way that isn't a slumber party. Whereas like it's cute that like Hermione's getting her little comeback.
Well, and for somebody that like is the way she is, that has spent so much of her life like holding up Ron and Harry and just like being an overachiever. The line, I wrote it down because I loved it so much. She'd never before made friends based purely on being excited about the same thing together.
And that's cute.
Like,
it's cute.
Really wholesome.
Yeah, it's so sweet. And so like through this, she starts to have a new hobby. She starts to make friends. She starts to move on from her breakup, and she's just she falls in love with it, and she's in a really
and
lovely,
the motivation
lovely
becomes
place.
her own.
Exactly. And she also just happens to learn that like Malfoy is a very good beater.
I love these like throwaways, and she just happens to learn that Draco
She just,
Malfoy
like,
is there, and he's
realizes
so hot.
Jessica's so good at like
he's
telling
like
stories.
He's
She's,
like
like,
a
so
really
good at
good team leader. And he's like a graceful flyer and fun to watch.
And he's so fucking hot. He's so hot.
And she would just like notice that his dick outline from the that
On
booty
his
looked
broom.
great.
He looked to be uncircumcised.
The way he sat on that broom was telling
Was
about
hot.
that booty. He popped that booty out.
Quidditch thighs or broom thighs. That's
Broom
a real
thighs,
thing.
That's the thing in
Broom?
fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Broom
when people
thighs.
like ride horses and they have like really, because you've got to grip.
I'm
grip
sorry.
it with
Have you ever
something?
seen rugby
Like,
thighs?
Yeah.
Rugby thighs
Take a second.
are so hot.
They're big.
They're so hot. Okay, can you
I want to continue.
Yeah.
So after the last game of the season, they have a thing for season pass holders where they can meet the players. And she's still in her fandom moment, and she's like, I just want to thank them for my new hobby. Like, and she's just standing there with some of her new friends in the lobby of whatever the stadium is. And Malfoy just like walks up to her, and they kind of just like look at each other. And
Is she wearing face paint?
Yes, she is in full like face paint. I think she has like a falcon hat on that she is like enchanted to every once in a while caw. Like, she's in full dorky fan gear. And he just kind of casually, and the way it's described in the fic is like just an understanding kind of passes between them of, yeah, we are different people now. Like, I am not the like guy who bullied you in high school, and you are not who you were, and can we just be who we are now?
Yeah.
And that kind of just silently passes between them, and just very casually he goes, "You want to get a drink with me, Granger?" And she says, "Yeah, okay."
Fuck yeah, I do. Yeah. Also, anyone calling me by my last name,
It's hot.
get the fuck out of here.
You
It's
also have
so
a good last name.
Yeah, you
for
have a
that,
great
too.
last name. I do not have a good last name for that.
Barusian?
Barusian.
No, people
Yeah,
won't
You
call
want to
me
get
that.
out of here, Barusian?
They don't.
I think it's their lack of confidence in saying your last name. But how hot would it be if somebody
I like when
confidently?
people call me M. No
M
one
is
really
good.
gives me nicknames.
Anyway,
Granger.
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 So
you want to grab a drink,
You wanna
Granger?
grab a drink, Granger?
grab
And
a drink,
so
Granger.
they go to a pub. She's still in full, like, she's in her hat and her face paint. and
It's
there's-
still calling.
It's still, yeah. And there's a moment where she's like, shit, I should. And she like stops the falcon from
I should
calling it. Like,
disenchant this thing.
yes. And so it's just like very, very casual, and they're just catching up. And she's like, he's hot and charming. And
Yeah.
he's like flirting with me.
And he's also like a professional fucking Quidditch
And he
player,
has those
which is
broom
a very
thighs.
hot job.
and he's
Yeah,
doing
those
just kind of the
thighs.
very suave, like, it's just very easy to talk to each other. And so like they just immediately kind of fall into this very flirty vibe.
Also, I think he was trying to smash back in high school a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
Absolutely.
So like, you know what?
It's that you pull a girl's pigtail because you like them.
You don't. Yeah, you don't do that as much as you do.
You call her a mudblood because you like her.
But which good for her for not, because fuck that. Fuck acknowledging it. But also like, you know,
that's a factor for
if
him
he can grow,
like
if he can grow and like get better at it, then that's not a bad thing. It's still cute. Like at least I'm into it.
And
I'm fucking here for this.
And in this moment she is not taking it all that seriously. She's just like, you know what? I can bang the hot Quidditch player who used to bully me in high school. Great.
Yeah, and now she's a super fan of the fucking team. She don't give a fuck.
She's into it.
She's just trying to get her
and
free.
And he also like he has a reputation as a ladies' man. The other thing that we have alluded to in this chapter that we didn't really talk about a lot in the previous chapters is that she has not, because the only person she's ever been with is Ron.
Oh, okay.
She has not come with a partner.
Got it.
Ever.
Okay.
And so she's like, what's the worst that can happen? Like,
what, I don't orgasm again?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're going to have a good time. It's fine. Okay, so they go back to his flat. And they do some snogging, and he's really strong, and he picks her up and throws her on the bed.
Yes.
He picks her up and throws her on his bed with the shoulders.
Strong shoulders.
And he's kissing her neck, and she says, "You're gonna leave a mark," and he says, "Good."
Damn.
And he's just like big, and he's on top of her, and she likes it. And she's like, it's nice to feel, the way she describes it is like, as a woman with hips, it's nice to feel small.
Yes, it is.
Hey.
Oy vey.
But then
okay,
he like, they start fully doing it, and he thrusts inside of her, and it's not working. And she's very disappointed until she goes, you know what? It's Malfoy. Fuck this. I don't care about hurting his feelings. He bullied me in high school. And she starts to give him instructions. And he listens enthusiastically and immediately.
Men love that shit.
Mm-hmm. So she starts saying like, hey, you need to do that, like, go this way, go that way, rub my clit this way,
right?
Like, and he is
up a little,
he is into it, he is on board, and is like, what else do you want me to tell, like, what else do you need me to do, what's going on here, like, and
especially if they need the help and weren't willing to ask. Oh my god, I've never.
But also, it's not. It's he just thought it was going well.
Yeah,
too,
he just didn't know.
Yeah, he just didn't know.
Yeah. And he's like clearly into it. And then he goes, anything you've always wanted to try, but the boys you let touch you couldn't manage it.
Hey.
And she laughs, and they're like still fully doing it. And she laughs, and she goes,
she loves having conversations.
She's like, I haven't been able to come ever with somebody. And he like stops moving and goes, really? Like, are you kidding me? You've really? And she was like, well, a lot of people have a difficult time. Like, it's not a unique thing. And and he goes, I'm just going to fully read this because I wrote it down. He goes, I have excellent stamina. And she goes, and you have questionable technique. And he goes, so teach me, Granger. You're into that, aren't you? And she goes, I need a lot of foreplay. I like foreplay. With your mouth? How? Should we experiment? And she could only nod. You have to tell me when I'm doing well. I can do that for you.
No wonder this hit you hard after what you said in the beginning of this episode of the condescending praise of like, with bad technique. Yep. You know, like, oh my god.
There is something about the shade before the praise. It's very much like
the darkness before the dawn.
It's like, you're doing a bad job, but that doesn't have to end there.
Yeah, like, that doesn't mean you have to keep doing a bad job.
Yeah, right now you're a C. Let's make it an A. You know what I mean? Like, it's very much like constructive criticism of like, yeah, but let's do better together. It's like, cool, keep your eye on the ball. You know, like, it's like that like energy of like, you're okay, but we're gonna get better.
We can improve this. We can do more.
I'm also learning so much about. I thought I knew everything I could by listening to the podcast, but sitting here in this room and listening to each of your stories.
You know, we edit.
You
edit hard, and also just realizing what you've chosen has explained. So.
So he is into it, and she says, well, why don't you try, fucking me against a wall? And she's like, okay. And he's like, all right. And he lifts her up. And the whole time he's like holding her against the wall, fucking her. And she's giving direction. And he's like, you have to tell me if it's good. Like, you have to tell me if I'm doing a good job at, like, getting you off. And she says, yes, you're doing such a good job. I need words of
affirmation.
You're doing so good. I'm like, you're wonderful. You're doing
Get one of those Staples
job.
yes buttons.
Yeah. And he's into it. Like, every time she says something, he, like, growls or moans or, like he's clearly enjoying it. And then he goes,
does she have to verbalize, like, yes, you're doing a good job, or can it be more like a moan or a groan or whatever?
It's both. Okay. Because he has asked her, he's like, you have to tell me if I'm on the right track. It needs to be explicit.
Like, because I want to make you feel good.
And at one point he goes like, what, like, do you need more? And she goes, well, usually, like, I'll use like a vibrator, but it's like a muggle thing. And he goes, oh, I know what those are. And he Accios a prepackaged bullet vibe, and he's like, I just keep a stash of these just in case. So the whole time, like, they're doing it, but she ultimately, even though she's a lovely time and she gets very, very close, she does not end up coming. And he's like, okay, but like you had a good time and you're okay. And she's like, oh, it was great. You're fine. And he's like, tell me I'm the best you ever had.
Damn.
Tell me I'm the best you ever had. She's like, you are. It was. Fuck. Okay. Oh no. Okay. And like, it makes her kind of freak out a little bit because she's like, oh no.
Yeah, he's so needy.
Oh no, he's so needy and he's so into this. And I think I love that.
Yeah.
And she kind of makes it super weird, like, afterwards, like, they're putting on their clothes.
Actually does make sense for their characters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And she, like, can't make eye contact. She doesn't know how to, like, reconcile hot man who wants to make her come with childhood bully. And she's about to leave, and he's, like, laying in bed, and he goes, don't forget your party favor, and, like, tosses her the vibrator.
No. Love that.
And she takes it with her, and as she's leaving, she's like, oh, I'll owl you, like, I'll owl you and reach out, like, later, and we can hang out again. And he's like, okay. And she leaves, and then she doesn't reach out to him, and he doesn't reach out to her, and she's like, okay, like, that was just a one night stand, like, that was just a really fun night, like, I'm not gonna do anything more. She uses her party favor a lot and thinks about him and how wonderful it was to give him directions and tell him he was doing a good job, and thinks particularly about, like, the earnestness on his face and how excited he was about
I've
her
got a couple
saying
of those that'll get me over the edge. Honestly, I understand that.
I
get it. Like, some of the sincerity, I'm like, I do love an enthusiastic
man
we
who's
love
really
a passionate
excited
lay.
Yep. And so that gets her through the off season, basically, because that was the day of their last game.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she goes to the first
training camp.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, she's like, okay, well, like, this will get me through the winter. And then she goes to the first scrimmage of the next season, and she
had to fill her cheek with nuts.
That's
Julie.
Stupid.
So she goes to the scrimmage, and she's in her usual, like, the season ticket holder box, and Draco Malfoy seems to be just, like, constantly looking over at her for some reason. She, like, kind of tries to write it off as her imagination, is like, no, like, it was a one night stand, like, it's fine. And then at the end of the game, he like flies over and hovers in front of her and says, fancy seeing you here, Granger. And then zooms away to bat away another bludger. Oh, it's so hot. It's so hot.
Yeah,
like, mid-game.
To be like, be like, oh my God, he's talking to me.
Yeah.
Like in front of all these people.
He's talking to me.
My cheeks hurt just thinking about what that would make me.
It's very charming.
Especially like a cutie like Malfoy. You know he's hot. Like,
and cutie like Malfoy. And like, you've been getting off to the sex toy that he just like happened to have available in his apartment for like many months now. And so she intends to go like right home after, because she's trying to avoid having more feelings about him. But immediately after the match, he flies to the box as everybody else is like filing out of the season ticket pass area, and says like, how have you been? Can I ask like why you didn't owl me the way you said you would? Like, why you didn't reach out? Like, I thought you said I did a good job, and I thought that meant it was good for you too, but clearly it wasn't. And he's like, and she goes, you were, I mean, it was really good. Like, you were very good. And he kind of goes, great. I'm glad you said that. I thought you were, I thought you were kind of like, you didn't have a good time. And she goes, no. I thought that you just like wanted to have a one night stand. And he was like, well, I was hoping to like explore other things and maybe you could teach me other things in the bedroom.
Yes.
And she goes, yes, that sounds good. We should do that. That sounds really nice. And so then he casts, this is such bullshit. He casts like a silencing and disillusionment charm on the
box, right?
Yeah, on the box that they're watching the game in, I guess.
But like, okay, wait. So I take umbrage. Professor Umbridge. So like in the fourth movie, when you see them at the Quidditch World Cup and you see it's boxes. It's literally box seats of like maybe 12 to 16 seats.
Yeah.
And in the back, there's like maybe a little bit of room for
and
like
it's like
walking.
Up high up.
It's
so
high up, and then there's like a bajillion stairs that you walk down. But it's covered on the corners or like on the sides.
But for the front,
the front, it's completely open.
Yeah,
yes.
but everybody already left.
Yeah.
Correct. But so I just want to like set the scene.
Yeah.
For that. Because,
yeah, like probably no one's gonna see.
But it's a professional game where they saw a professional player fly into a box.
Yes.
You don't think fucking Rita Skeeter, whatever
Somebody's
some shit,
up.
is gonna be like, what's he doing over there?
Yeah,
Nope.
people are people are definitely Taylor Swifting, and
he
Travis
casts a little.
Kelce.
He casts a little spell though, so they can't see.
Yeah,
or
but
hear
you're
magic.
But here's my issue:
Magic for penis.
This. I was actually team not Umbridge, but now I'm on team Emily's Umbridge because you watch this guy fly up, and then you watch yourself get disillusioned, or you watch them disappear, and you're like, they fucking. You know what I mean?
Or you'd be like,
fucking.
or they're having a talk and they don't want me to see. It's the Golden Girl and Draco Malfoy, you know. But anywho,
the Golden Girl and Draco Malfoy. So after she establishes that he did a good job and he's obviously turned on by that,
he's
and
like,
then
do it again.
Yeah, and they're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this now. They make out for a long time in the area, and he edges her for like 15, 20 minutes because he's basically like, listen, I can make you come here, or we can wait 15 minutes and I can take you to the locker room and we can do it in the locker room.
Locker room.
And
Always pick
like,
locker room.
And she's like,
no, not sexier. That like, neither
well,
is
she's like, I've always wanted to see the locker room because I really like.
She's a fan. She's a fan.
So she's like, okay, you can edge me for 15 minutes until probably all the players have left, and that's what he does. And then they go down to the locker room and they do it thrice, and she comes thrice. Yes. And all the while she's like, you're doing such a good job, thank you so much, this is wonderful, you are so talented, you're the best I've ever had. And he's like, yes, tell me more. And he also says like, you're so good, and like, good job about like her coming, but like most of the complimenting is coming from her to him.
Yeah.
And he's very into it. So then chapter 5, Hermione, countless. Draco, countless, minus at least one. They start having random booty calls all the time.
Okay.
Everywhere, all the time.
They're just running disillusionment charms at the mall. Running around in the gas station.
Oh, yeah.
Truly. Like in like the Quidditch stands all the time. Locker room all the time. About halfway through the season,
they're out to lunch at another Denny's. They're fucking disillusionment
in the bathroom.
In the bathroom, handle business. And she has a very pleasant like realization about halfway through the season that orgasms with a partner are no longer a novelty for her. They're just like, that's what she expects to happen. Like she just takes that for granted.
Good for her.
Yeah, and she just is like, oh, cool, great.
Yeah,
like this is working.
That's wild.
And so they're like in his bed doing like a very slow, comfy doggy style situation.
Slow, comfy doggy.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know. But
oh my god.
No, it's more just the idea of a slow, comfy doggy style.
You know, a slow, casual, comfy doggy style.
Like so many pillows.
Yes.
Yes. She's got her arms around a pillow. She's got her head on a pillow. She's got her hips with a pillow.
Yeah, she cozy.
Yeah,
she cozy.
And it's not like a dark, dirty doggy style.
Yeah, it's just they're very comfy with each other.
Yes.
They're like, let's take our time. And while they're doing it. Jokes like he's like, my trainer is mad at me because I bruised my ribs the other day when I almost dropped you while we were doing it.
Jesus.
In my kitchen. He's like, it's honestly kind of a badge of honor for me. It's kind of cool. And she's like, is it gonna affect your performance though in the next game? And she's like,
I have a lot of money on this next game. Hermione's gone full fucking
Is it against Chudley Cannons? Yes.
She's gone full bro. She's
maniac.
like, can't they do anything about it? Like, you need to make sure that you're performing well in the
She's
next
like
game.
not even being fun about it.
No, not at all. She loses her cool and he has to like calm her back down and be like, we need to finish what we're doing.
Yeah, I was trying to say it to be hot. Shut the fuck up.
Yep. So he invites her to a gala that they're holding for the World Cup qualifiers, which the Falcons are one of those. And he's like, it's a horribly boring, very elegant event that I would love to have you there with me. And you can like keep me company because I'll look very handsome and you can wear a gown. And she's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I would actually like to do that. And then she picks the most scandalous dress she can find, specifically to throw him off of his game. It says she barely convinced herself to wear it. It plunged low in the front and the back, clinging aggressively to her hips, a deep navy blue with magically glinting stars scattered across it, and she felt like a goddess of the night sky while she walked into the gala.
Aww.
And we love that for her.
I love wearing a fit where you do feel like the star of the show.
So she only wears it to scandalize him. It works immediately. He sees her and whispers, "This dress is a crime," into her ear. And so they're just dancing the night away. They're having a lovely time.
He's the fashion police.
Honey.
Actually,
Honey, this dress is a crime.
This dress, a crime. But you are hot.
You're hot though.
It's fine.
So they're having a lovely time, but then she sees a flash of red hair in the crowd.
Chudley Cannon, my ass.
Motherfucking Ronnie Dangerfield.
Ronnie
Dangerfield Weasley.
And he comes up to her at the bar and he says, "You're with Malfoy? Really?" Malfoy gets very possessive and goes, "She is," while like putting his arm around her.
Yes, possessive Malfoy is my favorite Malfoy.
Yeah. And just kind of pulls her close, like doesn't step in front of her or like get aggressive, just like, "She is."
Quick talk.
Kind of
did they already like? Does he know? Does he know about Ron?
He knows that they were seeing each other and that they broke up. Because like it was known, you know, in school. But he doesn't know until
he doesn't know
now about all the other stuff.
Got it.
So Ron says, "I guess I was wrong. You did know the players and the stats and whatever." And she says, "Of course you were wrong. I learned even more and went to all the games just to prove how wrong you were."
Damn. Now I know all the stats, the numbers, and the cock sizes.
And the cup sizes.
Hey.
And Draco goes, "Wait, you weren't just cheering us on because you liked us?"
Uh-oh.
And he said, "Why did you pick the Falcons?" And she goes, "Well, because you rival the Cannons, so it just made sense to pick you guys." And
now Draco's hurt.
He's hurt. And he's like, "Was I just like part of some revenge scheme or something?"
Yeah.
And she says, no, like at first that's why I picked the Falcons, but everything with you has been very real.
Bitch. She's so honest.
She's very honest. And he like scowls and is like looking in the off distance and is kind of like going through something, and then he kind of goes, "Okay, I believe you."
Damn. I love that. Actually.
Not me going, "Wow, a boy feeling feelings. He's gonna run away," and then you being like, "Okay,
yeah." Well, in that she goes, "Oh, okay," and he goes, "Like you there's no reason for you to lie to me. I believe you. Like that makes sense to me." But she feels horrible guilt and is like weird for the rest of the night. And like he tries to invite her back to his place after the gala, and she's like, "No, I'm just gonna go home," and is like very in her feelings and very in her head. And then she changes into her comfies, which is Draco's jersey and some sweatpants.
Cute.
And she realizes like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do this. And she goes to Draco's flat
in his jersey.
Cute. And she goes to his flat to apologize. And before she goes, she gathers up all of her like Falcon's fan stuff because she's like,
I got the hat.
Yeah, she's like, I need to prove to him that I'm a real fan.
Yeah.
And she goes there and she's like holding on to all this stuff. And he goes, why do you have all of that?
She's like, I was here before Dan Marino.
Yeah. I like the Dolphins before.
Yeah. Well,
I know who Dan Marino is. I got you, girl.
I only know the Truman Show. Or not the Truman Show.
Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura. There it is. Thank you. Not Truman Show.
Same actor, different world.
And she goes, I'm just not really, he goes, you don't need, why did you bring all this stuff over? Like, you don't need to do that.
Yeah.
Like, come here. And he hugs her. And she just says, I'm not like used to things being like, if I was with Ron, he would have given me a silent treatment for 3 days and I would have had to twist myself into knots to get him to like hear me and to apologize. Like, it would have been a whole thing. And he goes, well, you don't have to do that with me, like, and I wouldn't do that to you. Like, people shouldn't do that to each other. Like, what? I can't go days without like being with
Sounds
you.
toxic.
Why would I do that?
Yeah.
And she goes, this isn't about sex anymore, is it?
Damn.
Like, we care about each other, don't we? And he goes, yeah.
I want to know. I love you.
We don't have the rights.
Oh shit.
And they kind of like just kind of mutually go, oh yeah, it's not about sex anymore, but they still want to keep having lots of sex. And they agree to that.
It's not about sex, but we don't have to
keep
stop.
doing it. And then that brings us to the epilogue, which is
God.
Hermione not counting, Draco counting as a matter of pride.
It's the orgasm count.
It's the orgasm count.
Bitch, I just got it.
There you go. And Hermione is sipping champagne in her VIP box at the World Cup Quidditch game. And she is watching.
Free passes now.
Mm-hmm.
To all the asses.
Yeah, she ain't paying for another motherfucking
for that ass.
Absolutely
an
not.
annual ass.
And she's watching her boyfriend, and he'd already shattered finger bones of 2 opponents and a wrist.
Seems unnecessary.
And knocked somebody off of his broom and shattered a decades-long record for the most offensive bludger strikes in the first half of a World Cup match.
Hot.
And she's super turned on by it.
Yep.
And she's just thinking about how Ron is probably in the stadium somewhere in shitty seats, not able to see all the shit that she can see.
And he had to pay.
And not a single member of the Chudley Cannons made the national team, but Draco did.
Fuck yeah.
And as soon as the game is won for England, England had won in the most impressive point delta between a World Cup loss and a World Cup win by a single country in over 275 years. She knew. She'd done the research.
Love that.
6 seconds after the end of the game, Draco flies straight to Hermione's private VIP box to kiss her, and they go off to the side and cast privacy charms so that they can do it immediately.
6 seconds.
The game.
So the stadium is still full.
The stadium is still fucking full, but there's no one in the thing with her, so I guess it's better.
A little part of me is like,
it's exhibitionist.
Does this just mean that like in the wizarding world there's just people fucking all the time, but we're all like, you know, like, they're just like hiding behind
the secret is I'm always fucking.
I've been fucking this whole time.
The secret is I'm having sex right now.
I'm having sex right now. It's like an infomercial.
Yeah.
If you were a wizard, you could have sex now too.
He cast privacy charms, and she said, "You're the best player yet." And he said, "I'm good at things when I want to be, Granger. I just don't often want to be." And then he says, "I know I'm doing well. I mean, I just won the World Cup, but maybe you could remind me."
Damn. Maybe I could get that world box.
And she said, "You like hearing how good you are, don't you?" And he says, "From you, yes, very much." "Pick me up." He did. "Fuck me." He did. "How does it feel?" He asked. "So good. So good." "Am I the very best player you've ever seen?" "Yes, you're the best. Oh God. Yes, that's right. I am the very, very best." You know what the best part of this whole night has been? She asked. No one had to explain a single thing to me this entire time.
Hey.
And that's how it ends.
My mouth is agape.
It's been a minute since I've read that, so that
It's
was
so good.
absolutely lovely.
Wait. Go back to that one line.
Which one?
Wait.
Oh,
the fuck
God?
me. Yeah. Wait. What is it? Hold on. It was the.
I know
yes.
I'm doing well, but
No, it was the yes and the yes.
Oh, from you, yes, very much. Pick me up, he did. Fuck me,
That one.
he did.
Yeah. Pick me up. He did. Fuck
did.
me. He did.
did.
It's so good. I wanted to scream. Iconic.
The joy which I have that you started out season 3 with a Dramini fanfic.
A Hermione sports room.
That I love a sports romance.
you?
I
Does.
love a sports
Are you
romance.
you're the hockey puck.
I'm
You're
a
the
hockey
puck-
gal.
Yes.
I am not a puck bunny, but also I'm a puck bunny.
They're
But,
called puck bunnies?
They're
Puck
called puck
bunnies.
bunnies.
That's really
They
good.
are.
That's
It's
really good.
awful. Yes, but it's
I
great.
think it's great.
Yeah.
It's great. Oh my god, so good.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So good.
Truly
Thanks.
really good.
Do we have a game?
I was just going to ask if you were to fuck an athlete,
Casual game.
from which type of sport would you want to
Oh,
fuck them?
shit.
And I know Emily's answer
See,
is
I-
going to be hockey.
Ew.
Because you like hockey
The
romance.
lack of
Am I
tea.
wrong? Am I wrong?
I mean, I was gonna go rugby,
Ooh.
Oh, see, both of those have bad faces.
but they have great thighs.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, not.
But
all
both
them
of those be getting
Wait,
hit in the
do
teeth.
you have? Do you go on the TikTok?
I do.
Have you ever seen the Irish rugby team on TikTok? Because I follow them, and so does, I believe, our friend Caitlin Niblin,
That makes sense.
who
Yes.
sends them to me, and I send them to her. They are gorgeous.
Noted.
Oh my
See,
Lanta.
well, there's pretty sports players in all the sports.
Yes, and they're just big, broad men
Yeah.
with hair and faces.
Mm-hmm.
Period. That's it.
I specifically want to snuggle with Shaq because I am a big bitch.
You want a tall guy.
You want a tall
Not
man,
even- like,
just
I'm-
a large man.
Like no, but Shaq.
No, specifically Shaq.
Shaq would be a very
60-year-old
lovely
Shaq.
I'm
person.
5'9". I don't want it to be sexual.
You're not the tallest person
I'm not,
I know.
I'm not that tall, but
No.
I'm tall.
Okay,
like
that's fair.
Midwestern tall. Okay,
Yeah.
I go to a bar and I'm the tallest bitch in there. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not giant, but I feel like a giant sometimes. And
Okay.
I think it would be really nice to snuggle with somebody and feel like a little baby. But I have wanted this since I was a child, since I saw Aaron Carter play Shaq in that music video.
Fair.
That's how I beat Shaq.
Wait,
For
so you got
cutesies.
Shaq. I said rugby. Jess, what are you gonna say?
What sport? Rugby. Shaq.
Shaq. Probably soccer. 'Cause
Ooh,
I
okay.
don't.
Yeah,
I
those
don't
boys are
like.
pretty.
Yeah, I don't like a super broad man, but I do like
Yeah.
an athletic man, and I
Yeah.
like some thighs.
Yeah.
So
Soccer thighs are hot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I was gonna say any like sport, I would. Yeah, baseball, soccer, basketball.
Those are.
All the skinny like
skinny
lean
sports. The lean
I would say
sports?
The lean
hockey,
The running ones.
Yeah, all the ones where they're like cardio based.
hockey, rugby, soccer is what I'd go.
See, rugby is too much for me. That feels
Rugby's
too.
a
They
lot.
get
I
beefy.
love it.
Yeah, I want less beefcake.
They
Yeah.
could get into a fight at a bar if I needed them to.
What is happening? Are people just attacking you left and right? You need protection.
I like to be
It's
prepared.
because she's little. She said, "I'm 5'3",
I'm so
and I
little.
need to feel."
Oh God. Are there folks just jumping
am
out
the
at
Who's
you?
the person I'm at bars at the most? You. You are my bar companion.
And I'm here to protect you. I don't know why you need a man.
True. But you know what?
Just as your pit bull.
If I could, that was one of the things. I don't know if I've told you guys this, but when because Shay is coming with us to go see Scene Queen
Yeah.
in November.
Oh
We're
yes,
very excited.
you've told me this. Yeah,
I
you
don't
can
think I've
tell
told Julie this. And so I was talking to her about it, and she was like, "Well," because I was like, "You're gonna get in the pit with us," and she's like, "I'm not really like, I don't want to like get punched in the face." And
I don't think we're gonna get punched in the face.
No, we're not gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a very cool crowd.
Yeah.
But she was telling her partner James about that, and he immediately went, "Oh, Jess will protect you." And I have never felt so complimented in my entire life that he just was like, no, Jess is Jess has your back. Like, Jess will make sure you're okay. Like, don't worry about it. And then when we were at Riot Fest together, she was like, James said that you should put me on your shoulders because he seems to think that you are strong as hell.
I mean, you are. You're a very strong person.
I'm strong, but we're like the same size person. Like, there's no way I could hold her on my shoulders for any length of time. But it was such a compliment to me that James was like, yeah, like, Just has this handle. Yeah. Like, don't worry about it.
It's the energy.
That's so funny. Yeah, it is the energy.
We gotta wrap up this episode.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so in terms of praise, oh, Jesus.
Raccoons and trash cans.
Raccoons and trash cans.
We're at, did a good job.
What do you think is more praise?
Praise is good. Praise good.
Out of 5 raccoons and trash cans.
Oh, thank you. Okay. It's been a while. 5 raccoons.
How many raccoons and trash cans would you give Emily's story?
Oh, okay. Yeah. For praise, right? Not for trash.
No. In terms of praise.
In terms of praise, I'm gonna give yours a 3 out of 5. Yeah, only 3 out of 5. Only because I didn't want her to be praised. I wanted her. I fucking didn't like your main character.
She needed the praise.
Your fucking Elle Woods could get fucked.
I don't care for this, but that's fine.
To be fair, your telling of it. 10 out of 10 raccoons.
Thank you.
10 out of 5 raccoons. Like, you were amazing. I loved the story. I would listen to it again. But no, I don't think. Like, you know what I mean? She didn't do it for me.
Thank you for saying that for me.
But it wasn't you.
And for season passes, ask how many out of 5 raccoons and trash cans?
I'm giving her I'm never giving anybody a 5 out of 5.
Okay. That's good to know.
Unless it's magic. Like, unless it's
literally praise.
So that was a 4 out of 5.
Thank you.
So that one's getting a 4 out of 5 because it was a little more praise. It was more in my, I got it. I understood. I understand Draco's. I understood Draco's, not Draco's side of things, but I also understood Hermione's side of things. Like, I felt like I was here for both.
Yeah.
And I was here. The praise of it all, it got me better. Like, there were some sexier lines in there.
Yeah.
That said, yours is an intro. It slid me. It lubed
you up.
It lubed me up.
It lubed you up for season passes. Has to slide right in.
Yeah, you let me.
It was a double team right there.
You gave me all the instructions for getting that season pass
to this ass.
I'm so happy with both of those ratings. TBH. I love everyone. I love
Maybe
you. Maybe
before the end of the season, we'll get a 5 out of somebody.
We did such a good job.
We did a great job.
You did such a good job.
Hey, Jess, you did an amazing job.
You're so intelligent and good at picking stories.
Every time you tell a story,
you're so thoughtful.
Your storytelling skills captivate people.
And Julie, you did such a good job rating those stories.
Oh my God, you listened so good.
And hearing us.
You're
and
a
really
good girl.
taking in the information.
You're a real good girl.
Oh my God.
You're a good girl.
She's a good girl.
Hey,
where's my tweet?
Hey, Jess.
Yes.
What are you reading?
What am I reading? Fuck me. I need to pull it up. It's a fanfic.
Prepare yourself.
My God.
We can kill her.
No, I haven't started reading it, but I just recently downloaded Twisted Love by Anna Huang, which I've heard many things about.
Yeah, it's popping up
Jessica
a lot for me.
Marie Camp-Mole.
So that is next on I got the audiobook because I just can't read right now. So that is on the TBR, but hopefully by the time we have the next episode, I will have gone through her. But otherwise, I'm not currently reading anything. That one is right on the docket. Okay.
Hey,
It's
Julie.
been coming up a lot for me.
What are you reading?
I had an answer. Oh, it's not that radical. Climate action. Wait, no.
Wait, what?
Climate justice. It's climate change.
Called Climate Justice?
Climate action for climate change or something. It's called It's Not That Radical. It's climate action for a just world.
Cool.
So nothing sexy.
Okay.
But it is a very optimistic book on how to actually be a revolutionary and really make a difference.
Amazing. We're gonna get a lot of different answers from you this season, which
I'm
very excited
for. Some weird shit.
Hey, Emily.
Yeah, what's up? So I was reading a bunch of books for this and another episode that is going to come out before this episode. Yes. But in my downtime,
Before me?
Before you. So I, as a palate cleanser, read a fan fiction.
Oh.
And it was a Hermione fan fiction.
Oh. Oh.
And it's called The Contender by Ruby Krishna.
Okay.
And fun fact, it's about
boxing.
No, it's Hermione as a healer, and she's following around the England World Cup for Quidditch. And who's on that team?
Draco Malfoy.
Draco Malfoy.
Hot.
And Draco and Hermione.
Oh, so she's like a team, like the team nurse, like the team healer.
He's the physical.
Yeah.
The sports therapist or whatever. It's a physical trainer. The physical trainer.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
I don't think I've seen one like that before.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's 9 chapters. It's completed.
Yeah, that makes sense for her character too, because she's super smart.
Really
100%.
enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And he's a beater in this one. It was honestly very fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It was a very fun, very tense, fluffy, tension-filled, eventual smut kind of.
Great.
Fic.
I'm impressed by y'all for reading so much
We
on
read
the
pretty
palette.
fast.
Yeah, you're good readers, but like also like on the palette cleanser. For me, if I have homework to read, that's what I'm reading. So the fact that you're reading for funsies on the side of it really shows me the passion, and that's cool. It's really hot. It's hot, girls.
Thanks.
We're hot girls.
I don't know any other way to be.
Okay.
Doing this forever.
Last big question we have to ask
Okay.
you. Was there anything from this episode that made you be like, bing, bang, boom, want to know more about it?
For next episode.
Need to know more about it for the next episode.
Yeah. I like the opposite dynamic, the power struggle of like the woman for man, like it being like Draco's normally the bad guy, and this time she's being,
I guess, in a weird way.
Femdom?
I was gonna say, would it be femdom, like feminine
guess.
dominant?
Feminine dominate, like the woman having the dominant role.
I want to say yes. In my heart, I'm like, no, because it's not. I don't need that, the traditional aspect of it. It doesn't have to be femdom. It just needs to be like whoever the weaker party is. Not necessarily femdom, but underdog story. Like a you wouldn't expect it. Like a utopia. I like a nice tone.
I think femdom is what you're looking for, but you don't want it to be a dark thing. You want it to be an empowering.
It doesn't have to be. Yeah, it doesn't have to be femdom, because I think
you want a fluffy happy ending. You want something that's not dark. You want something.
I definitely don't like dark shit.
Not a bully romance. Not like a mafia romance.
Unless it's a come up. Like I like a turnaround. I like a twist. Like if it is a dark, like this guy's been bullying me. Well, now I'm bullying this you know what I mean? Like I liked the pettiness.
Like getting your revenge.
I love the revenge moment that we did here, but we already did that. So I'm thinking like I like what we did today. So I'm saying like already I approve. I know you're supposed to ask me what I want for next time, and this is not supposed to take this long. Yeah. But I'm saying you did a good job. But
Thank
also
you.
like what I normally like, like just the positive, the happies, the goods.
Yeah. I think femdom is the closest.
I think we're gonna try femdom.
Okay.
Femdom with a fluff aspect is probably gonna be our next one.
But even if not, you can disappoint me with a sad story.
We'll see.
I'm gonna give you a really weird.
Yeah, give me
sad,
dark shit.
Jessica's gonna give you a really.
I'm
weird
gonna
thing.
see if I can turn you.
If you want to shake me up and shock me, go for it.
I mean, both of us, we are notoriously in love with dark shit. Like we love dark romances.
Yeah, y'all go darker than I do. I think that's most things do.
Yeah.
I love fluff. I'm a sweet talk me. Like I want nice.
I usually have to be in the mood for like a fluff.
Oh, I want only fluff all the time.
I want sex.
The world is a nightmare, sharp,
all the
scary
time.
place. I want fluff in the home.
I want to delve deeper into the
we want a
darkest.
soft femdom.
Yeah.
We want soft
Yeah.
femdom.
Soft.
I want the wins
femdom.
to be the winners. You know
That's
what I mean?
what
Like
we
I want the
want.
nice people to win. I want the bad people to do bad. Like
I've
I've
never read that, and I think I might be able to find it. I'm interested in this as a challenge.
We love a good challenge.
But
This will
even
be
if
interesting.
if you get frustrated with the seek out, feel free to challenge me. You know what I mean? Like I'm open minded.
Absolutely
I've been
not.
having a great time.
Absolutely not soft femdom.
Plus,
Hell yeah.
you're giving us a good amount of time to actually find
Yeah.
and do this.
Yeah,
So
you
we've
got some time.
got some time.
We got some
we're
room.
good.
All right.
Soft femdom question mark is
Woo!
next time's episode. And thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank
This is gonna be a
you.
fun season.
Yes. I'm Emily.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Julie. And we're just raccoons
Talking about
the best trash in town.
Bye.
Bye.
That was so good.
Femmes Reading Filth is hosted, produced, and edited by Emily Barusian and Jessica Mall. Intro music by Tom Lehrer. Outro music by David Reddick. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Femmes Reading Phil. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Bye.